Yes, we are, and happy Wednesday to you. Welcome in to Gwynn Chris on 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., and Matt Scraby all together in our Odyssey Palace studios today. We are a couple of days away from the start of the World Series. The start of the NBA season is now behind us. Nice start for the Lake Show last night.
Yes, indeed.
We will get into all of that, of course. Bronny made his debut, and we'll talk about what that all meant. But I think it's kind of with a heavy heart we welcome you into the program today. I understand we're not in Los Angeles, but I also understand that we are still a bit of a border town. We are very close to Tijuana. We are very close to the country of Mexico. And there, I have to imagine that there is a bit of a national state of mourning today.
For sure.
With the passing of Fernando Valenzuela. This guy was not only a hero to Dodger fans, and we'll discuss some of that, but you know, he came at the end of his career, Tony, here to the Padres, and he pitched pretty well, actually. Won 23 ball games for the Padres over a couple of seasons here at the very end, and I think we kind of adopted Fernando a little bit at the end of his career. But the Latino community, people from the country of Mexico, this was their Babe Ruth. I mean, this was their Babe Ruth. Fernando Valenzuela, he was that big. If you're not from, old enough to be, have remembered what it was like, that's what it was like. And I think his passing today hits a lot of people very hard. It hits me pretty hard, Tony.
Yeah.
Just, having been around to watch Fernando, the effect and to see the effect he had on people, it's sad to talk about his passing today.
It really is. And as a young kid, a young 14-year-old, when he came, 13-year-old, when he came over to the Padres, got a chance to be around him a little bit, his family. And even as a broadcaster, as he moved into the booth, got a chance to see him a little bit more frequently. And yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, regardless of the uniform, I mean, certainly he had a Padre uniform on for 2 years. So he helped the Padres get back to the postseason for the first time since '84 at the time, and that he was on that '96 team.
Yes, he was. That's right.
Yeah,
won 13 games that year.
13 games, had a 3.62, pitched 171 innings. So he was a big part of that. And so it's certainly sad to have this discussion today. Over the course of this season, you see Fernando, and he certainly looked to be dealing with something. You didn't know what it was. No one seemed to really know what it was. And then when he took the leave of absence or took some time to focus
he announced that just a few weeks
on his
ago.
health a few weeks ago, you kind of started hearing word that he wasn't doing well. And so
I had heard about the leave of absence, and that is all I had heard. Yeah. And so when I saw the note that he had passed last night, it hit me rather hard. I grew up in L.A. You guys know that I was never a Dodger fan, and still am not. I
question that.
I know you do, but and I know you want to try to make this a fun segment, but it's kind of tough.
It's my job, Chris.
Yes, I know it is, but it's tough today because, I had just come to San Diego and gone to San Diego State, and when he started the 1981 season, he was 20 years old. And the night before the first game, the Dodgers opening day starter was a guy named Jerry Royce, a left-hander, and he got sick and could not start. Tommy Lasorda had nobody really to turn to, sent Fernando out, and Fernando pitched a 5-hit shutout, and then proceeded to start 8-0 with 8 consecutive complete games, and he allowed a total of 4 runs. So he was 8-0 with a 0.50 in the middle of May.
Just real quick, from 81, which was his first full season, he threw 192 innings.
Mm-hmm.
After that, this is all up through 87.
Okay.
285.
Yeah.
257,
That's right.
261, 272, 269, 251.
Yeah. He was an all-star every one of those seasons, too. 6 times an all-star. And his greatest performance, I think, the one that stands out to me was his start in the 1981 World Series. And it has kind of in a lot of ways come full circle because that 1981 World Series was between the Dodgers and the Yankees. And you have to go back to that time. The Yankees had beaten the Dodgers in World Series 2 in a row, 1977 and 78. Dodgers never could beat the Yankees in the World Series, and they fell behind in 81, 2-0. And they came home for Game 3 on a Friday night, and Fernando was on the mound, and he got touched up a little bit early in the game. I think they hit a couple of home runs off him. He was down 4-3, but he shut the door after that. The Dodgers came back, won 5-4. Fernando, complete game. I looked it up today, Tony. 147 pitches, which is a mind-boggling amount these days. But he carried them to that win, and they turned the series around, and the Dodgers did win that World Series. So but it's bigger than baseball. It really is. And Dylan Hernandez will be on from the LA Times to discuss, Fernando's impact. We'll discuss some things about it. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Fernando Valenzuela. But if there was a Hall of Fame for impact, he would be a charter member.
Yeah.
There's very few players like Roberto Clemente, his impact on Latin America, Jackie Robinson's impact on the black athlete, Fernando's impact in Mexico and
for sure.
in that world. I mean,
For sure.
I don't know if it's that big, but it's right up there. It's right up there.
Yeah.
So it's a very sad day. Indeed. We'll talk more about Fernando as we go along here today. I don't know if, we have a lot of people, I think, who listen to the show south of the border. If you want to share a couple of stories or things that Fernando meant to you, I have no problem taking a few phone calls on it today, 833-288-0973. Or maybe, there were some Padre fans that were even impacted by Fernando near the end of his career. Your dad played in the Fernando era.
He did.
Did he ever say a bunch of stuff? Anything? I mean, he hit 321 against them, which is not an upset because your dad hit 321 against everybody.
Yeah, no, I remember him being excited when the Padres acquired him in 96 or 95.
Right.
Just based off of his experience facing him before. So,
yeah.
I think that's about as much as I ever really heard him talk about Fernando outside of seeing them talk while they were teammates. But
yeah. Fernando had this incredible screwball. He was a
what he was
left-handed
known for.
pitcher, right?
Yeah.
He's a left-handed pitcher, and the ball would start down the middle of the plate to a right-handed batter, and then it would disappear basically into the left-handed batter's box while guys flailed away at it. And this was before analytics, so everybody just thought, you know what we got to do against the lefty Fernando? We got to stack it with right-handed hitters. And he would love that because he would just keep throwing that screwball all day and all night long, and guys couldn't hit it. And I think finally a few people figured out maybe we should put a lefty or two in there against him because then the screwball was curving into the hitter. But, I mean, he still had great success.
Yeah, that was kind of the mantra for a long time. And then they started realizing, man, a left-handed pitcher gets to settle in on one side of the plate if he wants to all day. Maybe we should make him have to change it up a little bit. But, yeah, no, Fernando was a really good pitcher, man, and good dude, good man as well.
Well, that's how we kick things off today. As I said, Dylan Hernandez will join us to talk a little bit about Fernando today. We have an interesting segment coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. It's called Gwynn and Chris FAQ.
Oh, yeah. Is that the dice one?
This is the one where I get a dice here and I roll it, and then that picks a category, and then it's either you or me or Scraby.
Or the group.
Or the group has to answer an uncomfortable question.
I went through.
Did you come up with some good uncomfortable questions for us today?
I think I stayed up until 11, honestly, looking up great questions.
This is where Scraby looks to thrive at.
Yes, he wants to embarrass us, but you know what's funny? I control the die over here.
Yeah, you do.
And I could
so,
be very...
I could be shaving this die, too, if we wanted to.
I could be very...
Shaving it.
I could not be honest over here.
You're going to have a heavy hand over there?
I could just pick your category every single time.
I don't get embarrassed very often.
No, nothing embarrasses you. I almost got embarrassed at the end of the show, though, yesterday. And I told Tony about this.
Do I know about this?
You were here, but I don't know that you caught it. I don't
Did you eat something off the ground again?
No, nothing like that.
No.
Oh, that was just last week.
That was last week. No, yesterday, as we were going off the air, I said
This is as it pertains to his anniversary.
Right. It was my anniversary was
okay.
yesterday. Everybody
All right.
remember we talked about that a little bit.
Of course.
And we were going out to dinner last night. And just as a way of speaking, as we were going off the air, I said, well, the show's over, et cetera. I'm going to go have a nice anniversary dinner with my wife, and then we'll see what happens after that.
He did.
Tony I told Tony that on the way down in the elevator, and he goes, that could be construed in a few different ways.
What is that? I mean, I get where.
What do you
guys
mean?
are
We'll see
thinking.
what happens after that. I don't know.
It was just funny coming from Chris. 'Cause
It
that's
is
not
funny
something
coming
that,
from Chris,
that he
for
would
sure.
normally say.
No.
In that particular spot.
I would imagine if anybody heard that and really was, locked in on that, they would have said, "Well, Chris, that's
Man,
kind
I wish I
of
would have heard
that's
this.
a bit risque
I would have
for you to
said-
be telling me
I mean, what do you?
we're going to see what's
could've-
going to happen after that."
You could have been going to get ice cream.
Yes,
after
we could have
dinner.
gone. We could have gone
that's-
home. We
that's
could have
the
gone home
point,
and played Yahtzee
Right,
or something.
Do you guys
But
play Yahtzee often?
no, we don't.
You know what's funny is that was like one of my dad's favorite games.
Yahtzee?
He loved Yahtzee, huh?
Loved Yahtzee.
Yahtzee,
He
man.
would literally be in his room by himself playing Yahtzee.
Yahtzee can play, man. Yahtzee's a good game. But
Um,
anyway, no, I thought that was a bit of an embarrassment yesterday.
This is
but
a
luckily, I think most
question
people missed it.
from the chat about this. Nate says, "Did the wife hear it?"
She didn't hear that sentence.
Okay.
But she did hear, she was lucky. Fortunately for me, she was listening at the beginning of the show yesterday when I wished us a happy anniversary. So I scored good points on that one.
Good.
So I'm good to go for the time being.
What did you guys do after?
I don't know. I don't remember. I knew you were
said you were
I
gonna
knew
go
you
there.
were gonna ask me that, and I was like, I'm not going there.
Well, you posed the question at the end of last show, so
Yeah.
we had to answer said question.
There's your answer.
Oh, wow.
All right, the Lakers got off to a good start. I think it's kind of lost, in the Bronny James shuffle, but it's a nice win for the Lakers to kick off the season last night. Bronny did make his debut. The Celtics, they opened defense of their title in style.
Did you see Josh Hart's comments after?
No, I didn't
He
see
said,
it.
I think every one of them needs to be drug tested because I've never seen anything like that in my life.
It was unbelievable. If you didn't see it, we'll talk about that a little bit when we come back. Remember, Dylan Hernandez will join us. So if, maybe you're not 100% clear on the impact of Fernando Valenzuela, I think he'll shed some light on all of it. We'll do all of it here in the first hour of the show. Gwynn and Chris underway for a Wednesday on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan.
Be careful out there.
top of him.
He's sitting there telling us what to do between the break there.
Well, I'm just trying to help out the show by
No, you're
getting
not
us
trying
on
to help
track.
out the show. You're trying to like
I like it when
be
the
a
guys,
control freak.
the guys are like,
He
we
is a
never
control
do,
freak.
we never do that.
That's not what we
never
said.
do that.
So
Look
Scrappy-
what happened last segment.
So how about this, ladies and gentlemen? We finally get out on time. Chris gets us out at 2:13.
I commend you for that.
No, you
Perfect.
didn't.
No, you
you
didn't.
didn't. You did. You came right and said, you know.
We got to start getting out on time.
But what did I start with? I said we did a really good job this first segment.
And you know what? Let's go to the
you
tape.
said that after
we don't have a tape.
Roll
on this.
tape. Roll tape. You opened with, you guys have got to start getting out on time.
No,
And then I
what
said, I just got out at 13, and you going, you did a good job
you did
that
this
time.
right? That's
You really-
how
That's
it
what
went.
you said.
That's
Chris-
exactly how it went.
Chris is infuriating because he's the most selective hearer I've ever met in my
I'm
life.
hearing it too.
My wife thinks the same thing, but it's just not true.
And well, if two people are saying it,
My wife thinks that I'm a selective hearer as well.
here because
But you know what I'm not. But you know what I truly am, and I try to explain to her. I just don't hear that well anymore.
right.
I'm old, and I turn my headset, my phone's up way high, and my ears are probably going. And my wife has the innate ability. Raise your hand out there if this happens to you. She has the innate ability to turn away from me, start walking out
away.
of the room or walking up the stairs, and then says, can you take the trash out? And I'm like, I can't hear you.
In that same tone, like she's like
Right?
next to you.
I can't hear you.
Oh
And then
my
she'll
God.
come back down. Did you take the trash out? And I go, I didn't hear you say that. Oh, it's selective hearing. No, it isn't. I can't hear you. You're not facing
I got
me.
my hand raised on
Hand
that,
raised.
for sure. My wife loves to talk to me going up the stairs,
Going out of the
through
room.
2 different walls.
well, maybe you guys, because this happens with my dad. Like I will leave a room, but I will be finishing a thought, and I will talk louder, knowing that he can't hear. And I'm like, he goes, I didn't hear you. Why do you always walk away when I?
That's
and I'm
right.
Like,
It makes sense.
Dad,
you
like,
usually finish your thought before walking out of the room.
My wife, we have the upstairs, downstairs. Scrabe, our little, it's not a big house, but it's upstairs, downstairs. And if a thought comes to her mind while she's downstairs and I'm upstairs, she just yells it up the stairs, whether I'm there or not. I mean, I'm like, when I have a thought, you know what I do?
Go
I get
down.
off the couch.
100%.
I get up. I walk up the stairs and I go, "Hey, I have a question for you."
100%.
But
You know
when
why?
she wants to ask me something, she stays on the couch and just yells it. What do you think we should do tomorrow night about dinner?
why does that bother you? You
Well,
should
here's-
just yell.
It doesn't bother me, but I can't hear her.
Here's why it bothers
And then she
me.
gets mad that I didn't hear her.
Because if I yell down the steps, my wife would be like, I don't know why you're yelling from up there. Why don't you come down
That's
and
right.
just tell me?
There's 2 separate sets of rules.
There's extra. Well, Tony's palatial state. You need like a
Well,
golf cart to
Tony,
go
I can
between
understand. He
rooms.
probably needs.
stop it.
Tony probably needs a bit of a,
He has a syrup tree.
a
that you take
communication system.
that you take a train to.
But you've seen our house. It's
You
not
guys got
very
me
far to
messed
walk
up.
from downstairs to upstairs in our house.
So that means that the voice could carry easily through
No,
your house.
no,
It doesn't,
it's not.
though.
Not, he already said he's on his own. He's losing hearing. So traveling.
I'd be
up-
on the computer upstairs. She's watching TV downstairs. What do you think we should have for dinner Friday?
And then you go.
I get no chance.
Then you go. I want some
shit.
pizza. And then you guys are
No
good.
chance.
Then you guys are good.
Yeah, we are. We would be good if I could hear the question.
But
Jeff,
can we go back to the actual issue at hand here?
hold up before we do that. This hour of 97.3 The Fan is brought to you
Before you get mad at
The
him for not
only
doing
thing-
that.
The only thing that will shut me
by
up.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings and try their new maple chipotle sauce with rich maple sweetness and a mild smoky chipotle heat. Or for a bit of kick, check out the new Cajun sauce for a rich blend of spicy and tangy pepper sauce. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings. Go. Go.
So the
original
question
problem.
at hand is I'm trying to get our show on track a little bit because we go a little bit long in segments. I opened it up with I am equally as guilty as keeping
No.
us late.
You did not open it. You did not open
You're
it up
the
like that.
stenographer in here at all times.
Hold up. Let me just
We
say
need a
this real quick.
stenographer.
Let me
You don't
just
have
say this real
selective
quick.
hearing. You just have a mind-altering way of telling stories.
Oh my God.
You're just cutting and pasting is what you're doing.
You
let
are.
Me, let me say, it's not that either of us disagree that we need to be a little bit more on schedule. However, why wouldn't you bring that up at a time when maybe We weren't on schedule.
I meant to do it before the show, but we didn't have
So-
time to do it
so
before
it's your
the
fault.
show.
You forgot to bring it up during the show.
No, we were busy working.
And then you waited till after it was executed perfectly to tell us, man, you guys got to get out on time.
Yeah, you messed that up.
I'm
Look,
sorry.
it's kind of like
good
if
thought, bad timing.
if you had a child that was in school and they came to you and they said, "Hey, Dad, here's my homework. I just finished it." And you looked at it and you said, "Oh, you finished your homework." You know, you got to start doing your homework more.
It's a positive reinforcement. It's a positive reinforcement.
No,
Hey, look what happens. I am happy when you do your homework.
No, but you didn't say that. You just said, you really got to start doing your homework more, and he just did it.
And he's probably
That's what
looking at
happened
you like,
here.
Dad, I just did my homework.
That's what
what are you talking
happened
about?
here.
So there you go.
Scraby got issues. And...
Let's talk about the Lakers now.
Okay.
Okay, we're on time, so it's okay.
We got a couple minutes left.
Lakers get their opening season win. They had lost, I believe, 6 straight
Oh, had they? I didn't know
openers. Last night was a little different. Obviously, the win was kind of set aside for some folks in
that. For
terms
a lot
of
of people, yeah.
the history that was made. King Griffey Sr. and King Griffey Jr. are in the building to witness. First time ever father-son in the NBA have been on the floor at the same time, even if it was only for 3 minutes.
And if I'm not mistaken, Bronny's first shot attempt came off of a pass from his dad.
As per usual, LeBron James got somebody a good look.
And it was a pretty good wide open look, but he
Just
missed it.
yeah.
And I guess I didn't see the second shot he took, but he was officially 0 for 2 on the field goals.
I think he
And,
missed, I think he missed a putback.
yeah. But you know what? Look, he got his feet wet. It was a smart move by J.J. Redick to get it done in the first half of the first game. And now if he really wants to bring him in, he can just bring him in from now on. But at least he's not going to be asked about it for the next month and a half. When's he coming in? When's he going to play? He played.
I thought they handled that perfectly. I
It was
thought
good.
J.J. Redick, in really his first big test in his head coaching career, how was he going to handle this kind of storm? I thought he did a great job. I like the fact that Bronny didn't play 3 minutes.
That's all he got too. He didn't see
the
the
floor
light of
again
day after that.
I think if there would have been a blowout, but the game got close.
It was close enough that they couldn't quite go to him at the end.
I also, as a Laker fan, enjoyed what I saw from the team. I was listening to him talk. They had, I think they got up something around 8 or 9 threes.
The Lakers?
In the first half, or it might have been the first quarter. I can't remember what it was, but that's kind of what they want to get to. I think it was 18 threes in the first half.
The Lakers shot 18
shot
threes?
18
Yeah, they didn't make any of them.
No, they didn't make any of them.
I mean, they won a basketball game last night going 5 for 30 on threes. I can tell you, there's not a lot of NBA teams that are going to win games with those statistics.
And
that was impressive that they were able to still win despite that.
They defended, and they played the T-Wolves, by the way, who
It's a
were
good
a team that's a really good team.
Yeah,
and
they
so
are.
I was very happy to see Anthony Davis get off to a good start.
He dominated the game at both ends, and if you don't, he had 36 and 16, but that doesn't tell the whole story. At the other end of the floor, he basically rendered Julius Randle invisible. I mean, I know Randall's statistics look good, but he had no impact on the game.
He did. He got a lot of his stuff late too.
Yes, he did. Davis was great.
Davis was also, I think, motivated. The defensive player of the year was in the building.
That's right. And he thought he should have
won it last year. And he looked like a guy who was playing with that type of chip on his shoulder. So
good point. I think the Lakers have a really good starting 5, Tony, and I think they're going to win their share. But their bench concerns me, and we'll have to see how they develop. But
they got 3 guys injured right now. Vanderbilt's hurt right now. I know he's a big piece off that bench.
Okay.
I can't remember who the other 2 guys are.
Is Reddish hurt, or is he just not playing?
He's just not playing yet.
Yeah, Connect made his debut.
Connect looked good.
Did all right. Hit 2 out of 4. But Gabe Vincent's a pretty good little player that was with Miami a couple years ago. But they don't have a great bench. And they need their bench because their players are older, so they got to sit them out as the season goes along. So
we'll see how that goes.
See how it works, but it was a good win.
The other, I actually happened to be listening to this interview live when it happened. Brian Cashman was on with Mad Dog, I believe it was. Yesterday.
Yes.
And it caught my ear when he said it. At first, I had to kind of put it together because he said it. Brian Cashman said it so casually. He was asked by Chris Russo about the kind of drought that they've had in terms of World Series and World Series appearance.
Right.
And he said, he's like, I hate when it's framed in a way of a drought because people often forget that we were cheated out of, and my ears perked up immediately. I started running back. I was like, oh, they did run into the Astros quite a few times.
2017, they played them.
It was clearly still Brian Cashman didn't have to think about this answer at all. It was like on the tip of his tongue. And I just thought it was interesting that he still seemed to be quite salty. You have the sound, Scrape?
Yes.
Let's play it.
Here it is.
Give me your thoughts here. Finally getting back and winning a pennant after a 15-year. I don't want to say drought. That's not fair. But you understand what I'm saying with the gap. How about winning the pennant? How's that mean to you? Let me hear.
It means a lot, and I hate the 15-year thing because it completely forgets and discounts that some other organization cheated us when we were all the way in the end. If you knew what was going on, I don't think they would be advancing at that during that time thing. I think we would have been advancing. So. I hate that 15-year thing because I don't think it accurately reflects history.
Wow, that's pretty hardcore.
It was funny because I just happen to I very rarely am listening to MLB XM on Sirius, and when he said that, I was like, maybe I wish I had a link to send this to Scraby right now, but as it turned out, it came up the next day.
Yeah, he was on it. It was shots fired for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And, the Astros wish this whole thing would go away, but we are now basically, 4 years removed from this all being discovered? And it's still on most people's minds. Altuve still gets booed whenever he comes up to the plate.
They all still get booed when they come up to the plate,
Yeah,
even the ones in different uniforms.
You're right.
It's had that kind of impact.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to break. When we return, Dylan Hernandez, LA Times columnist, will join us to talk about the legacy of Fernando Valenzuela.
Welcome back to the show. I thought it was Tony's turn.
Chris and Tony and I were just sitting there waiting.
I thought how long were you guys going to wait? Like the whole segment?
I think we were willing to
Were you going
wait
to play that
until
music for 40 minutes straight?
I think we were willing to wait.
Well, I finally figured it out. 2:37 is the time. It is Chris. It is Tony. It is Scraby. Don't forget after the show today, Chronicles coming up. I imagine.
Real quick, what was your gripe last night?
What'd you have?
You said you were. Was
It was
yesterday?
given to me by a listener, which, oh my goodness.
We had a good one before the show started too, but tell me about this one.
The listener stepped in dog feces in their yard and then tracked it inside and didn't know that they had the poop on the
Didn't
bottom
notice.
of their shoe. Didn't notice.
Really, the smell didn't alert them.
I think it was like stepped in it, kept walking, walked through the garage indoors,
Yeah.
and there you go. Which
You'd have to feel the squish.
I don't know.
You don't think?
Yeah,
But
no,
so-
it definitely changes the way your foot lands when you got some.
Yes, there's a
turd at the
squish
bottom
there.
of it.
It does, but I'm
You gotta
not willing
notice
to
the
blame
squish.
him for someone leaving
Yeah, no,
a
I'm
dog
not
turd
blaming
in
him.
their
I'm
yard.
just saying,
Well, I'm blaming him a little bit. Blaming him a little bit. I mean, you got to notice the squish.
So I go.
If you don't notice the squish and you take it into your own house, can't blame the dog for that.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you
no,
can.
you
No.
can. No, you can't blame the dog. You
Blame
blame
the
the
owner. Yeah.
the owner. Because there is a problem in our neighborhood right now, and it's not the neighborhood pooper where they were leaving dog poop in my yard. That has stopped. I think those people moved away or something.
Okay.
But there has been an issue with people not cleaning up after their dogs, and so there were signs that went up on the walk route. And then the signs were taken down the next day. Then they were back up. So there's some sort of battle happening in
Why
the
can't
neighborhood.
you just pick up your dog poop?
Exactly.
Right, why
I
we gotta
don't
mess
know.
with the signs?
But you guess what I did today? Stepped in dog poop.
Did you
Wait,
feel
so
the
wait,
squish?
So this
I
came
felt
from
the squish.
This came
There you
from
go.
The original Daily Grab came from the chat.
Came from chat.
But there was more to the story. Like, people, it is not hard. If you are walking your dog and it poops,
Here comes the preacher.
pick it up. Like, who's walking down the sidewalk? Their dog goes to the bathroom and is like, "Oh, it's cool. I'm just gonna leave it right here in the middle of the sidewalk."
Unfortunately, a lot of people.
I can't get in that mindset. And there are people out there because someone told me one time, "Oh, it's not my fault. It's public property." No, it's not.
That's a great answer.
It's not public property.
property.
Still, clean up after your dog.
Tony, you honestly don't mean that it's a great answer, do you?
No, I don't. I'm being,
Oh, that's an acceptable answer. Okay, I get
I'm
it.
being sarcastic.
All right, fair enough.
He said it was like a Wendy's Frosty. Nate did.
Hey, if you step in that, you got to feel the squish.
come on.
He said it was a step, and then 3 into the garage, and then
Gotta
he found
feel
out.
the squish.
on a Wendy's Frosty. Is that what he said?
It looked like that.
Well, I'm saying like you step in that you. Eh.
I didn't
You
know.
got to
I
be more
stepped-
self-aware.
I
Got to
didn't
be
know
more
I stepped in
self-aware.
it this morning until I walked a few steps, and then my foot was like slipping. And I was like, what is that?
Everybody stepped in this in their life once, at least.
It's
and I'd say
infuriating,
99.5 have noticed the squish.
Oh, it's infuriating.
I'm not going to blame Nate for this.
I'm not.
I know if this happens to Tony Gwynn Jr.,
Oh.
there is one thing I know he hates more than anything else, and that is getting the shoe itself clean again.
Yes.
Oh, I have my.
He
dog
would
walking
hate. You could
shoes,
never
so-
throw a shoe away, could you, Tony,
No.
on something like that?
I mean,
because usually when you step on it, it gets
Dog
the word
poop,
squish.
certain-
It gets into every crevice of that shoe.
Certain dog poop can completely take out a
yes,
shoe.
it can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it can.
Oh God. You don't have like dog walking shoes, guys? I have dog walking shoes.
What are those? What are those?
I don't care if they get trashed or if I step in dog poop. They always stay outside. It's,
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't have any shoes that just stay outside,
Dog walking.
You have like
shoes.
100 pairs of shoes.
and none of them stay outside.
You are. You're a special guy. Just are. All right, Dylan Hernandez. Should we get to that? Or
Yes.
we'll get to Scraby's other complaints later.
No, there's no more
Oh,
complaints.
We'll spread 'em out throughout
had a
the
good-
show.
We had a good one about
Yeah, he
this
did.
this Interstate 15 right here that we get
Yeah,
on.
we'll get on that one
Yeah.
in a little
Well,
while.
Tony
I don't want to
identified.
overwhelm people with this.
It would be over.
Fernando Valenzuela's passing going to be felt, and Dylan Hernandez was nice enough, the columnist from the LA Times, to help us try to put it all in perspective. Here is that visit. And indeed, we are joined by LA Times columnist Dylan Hernandez, often kind enough to come on and join us to talk some baseball. And, got the World Series coming up, and the Dodgers just beat the Padres. But I think, Dylan, today, it's kind of with heavy hearts we have you on. I mean, the passing of Fernando Valenzuela, he's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but I think he would be a charter member if there was a Hall of Fame for players that have had impact on a community, on a country, on a whole group of people. I don't think anybody ever impacted the way Fernando did.
Yeah, absolutely. And you really have to kind of think too. Kind of hard to tell now, but for a long time there was a lot of distrust between the Latino community and the Dodgers, right? Because Chavez Ravine obviously famously was once a Mexican American neighborhood that got taken over because of eminent domain. I think it was supposed to become like a housing project there or something, and eventually that's where Dodger Stadium sat. So, for decades, the Dodgers were not viewed in the most favorable of lights in this city that was becoming more and more Mexican with every passing year. And Valenzuela just kind of single-handedly changed that, because sometimes you have those special athletes, I think, who kind of can transcend all that, right, and get people kind of involved and also just sociologically, right, from a society standpoint. There was a time again of a lot of immigration and stuff, and there were a lot of discussions about that, and I think it gave a lot of Latino people a sense of kind of belonging here, right? They were proud, right? There was somebody out there in the community doing something at a very, very visible level that they could be very proud of, and I've always kind of said, that the children of Fernando's fans became Oscar De La Hoya fans, and right, those are a lot of the people now that are out at the ballpark, and probably Fernando's fans' grandchildren are now the core Dodger base. So yeah, and you go out there now, I think the Dodgers say that 40 to 50% of their fan base is now Latino, and so it's just been kind of a massive thing, and really, what just kind of struck me, obviously I was 1 year old, a year old when Fernando Mania was happening. But I just kind of think about the unassuming, man in the press box, right? You never would have guessed that he was such a big deal, the way he kind of carried himself. And, every now and then I had to remind myself, like, dude, this guy, like, changed the world.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I often would have to kind of have the same thought to myself as I walked by him in the booth, as he was, doing, the broadcasting side of things. And obviously, Fernando had gotten sick here in the last couple of months and took some time away. And you kind of hit on it, Dylan. I mean, Fernando Mania had lasting power. It wasn't just that segment of time. It seemed like when Fernando walked through that stadium, it was almost as if Fernando Mania was still live and present, even today, it's felt like.
Yeah, and it's also not a thing that's just contained to Los Angeles, right, because of, how many Mexican and Mexican-American people are, right, here throughout, not just California, but even throughout the country now. I think if you kind of look at, like, the the big three of kind of Mexican sports. It's Hugo Sanchez, a soccer player, right, who had a lot of success in Real Madrid, Julio Cesar Chavez, the boxer, and Fernando. And of the three, Fernando was the one that was kind of able to kind of cross over in the United States, right, and was kind of this symbol of like, hey, like we can still kind of be ourselves, yet still kind of find acceptance here, right? And if we kind of go about it the right way and stuff. And so I think from that standpoint, he has like a lot of meaning to like a lot of people. I think you always kind of hear people talk about, hey, that guy looks like my uncle or something, right? Except he was a star on a huge stage, and I do think at some level, right, not to sound like too corny or anything, because I generally kind of don't like this stuff, but right, like I do think at some level, like representation and stuff like that matters, right? To see somebody, of your background that's successful, and you know what, and it's also been, I think, a good lesson to Major League Baseball too, right? Because for the first time they saw, hey, you know what, if we actually kind of open our doors and make this sport more inclusive, the bigger it can be. I mean, you can draw a line obviously from here to Hideo Nomo to Shohei Ohtani now, right? I mean, you could talk about Chan Ho Park and now the great Korean players that are in Major League Baseball, and it really has helped, I think, Major League Baseball become more of a global entity than it was before.
Dylan Hernandez, nice enough to join us here, talking about the passing of the legend Fernando Valenzuela. And of course, Dylan, I'm certainly not in the Latino community. I grew up in Southern California, in L.A., but Fernando was more wide-reaching than just the Latino community as well. I mean, I think everyone rooted for Fernando, and when he had that 1981 season, I don't think he had to be a Dodger fan. He brought baseball eyes to the sport. He took over the sport for at least that 1981 season and then beyond, because just the way he pitched, the way he went out there and did his thing, and he was more effective than just as in the Mexican community, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's kind of right, the other day I was down at Little Tokyo, a Japanese TV station that asked me to go down there to talk to them about Ohtani and stuff. And so, a couple of Japanese TV reporters, it's me, and a group of young Latina girls stopped by, and they start screaming about Ohtani. One of them even kind of forced their way in front of the camera to talk about how great Ohtani was. And that's what great athletes do, right? They kind of bring everybody together, because everybody, when you see greatness like that, everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody can relate to it. And I think it's really important, especially in a city like Los Angeles, that's, geographically so vast, ethnically so kind of broken up, right, and fragmented. The Dodgers have always kind of been, I think, or not always, but, for a long time have been one of these places where, it's a place for everybody in the city to go to, right? And that's kind of part of this now. And again, now you have people of every possible background cheering for Ohtani, right? Just like they did for Valenzuela, just like they did for Kershaw, just like they did for Matt Kemp. And I think that's what special athletes do, right? Is that they make everybody kind of get on board, right, on the same train, so to speak, when it kind of seems like we're all traveling different tracks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Dylan Hernandez joins us, LA Times columnist, and he's passed at a time where the Dodgers are getting ready to face off against the Yankees. I think he pitched in that 81 series at that year. I mean, it's kind of strange how baseball kind of connects these things in the way they do, and this is going to be highlighted even more because of Fernando's passing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty emotional at the stadium. Again, I'm guessing there are going to be people crying and stuff, right? It's going to be an interesting, just kind of the way the players kind of take it too. Like I said, he was a pretty unassuming guy, right? I'm not so sure how many of the players on the active roster actually knew him, or if they did know him, how well they knew him. But it's going to be, for sure, an emotional time in the stands for people.
Dylan, real quick before we let you go, I mean, his 81 season, he wins the Rookie of the Year. He's a Cy Young Award winner. He pitched 5 shutouts in his first 8 starts that year, and all 8 were complete games. It was just an uncanny performance, and he went on to have the kind of career he had with the Dodgers. How should we categorize Fernando's, as a ball player as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think he burned very brightly and very quickly, right? I mean, again, there was a very heavy workload that was placed on him early on. That said, I think, again, I wasn't around during those peak years, but the people that saw it tell me about how special it was. Somebody I spoke to today kind of compared it to like Tim Lincecum, right? Which, right, every time he pitched, it was kind of must-see baseball type thing. And, I do think now that because of the way kind of pitching has evolved and stuff, I am wondering if kind of the criteria for kind of Hall of Fame pitching will change down the road, right? Because I'm not so sure you're going to see kind of that dominant ace going 10 plus years anymore, and if those peaks have to be shorter for entry into the Hall of Fame, I think even as a player you can argue it, and definitely from again an impact standpoint, right? I mean, I've always said this: if Bud Selig can be in the Hall of Fame, Fernando Valenzuela should definitely be in the Hall of Fame.
Well said, Dylan.
Yes,
well
sir.
said for sure. Thanks so much for joining us on a tough day for everyone who follows the Dodgers and people around Major League Baseball. You've been always good to us. We appreciate that, and wish you a lot of fun in the World Series, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing me to talk about this. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan.
Dylan Hernandez, always top-notch and as classy as they come. Some interesting thoughts there, not just about Fernando, but, it's going to have a bit of an effect, on Friday night. I mean, they're going to have to do something, and they are. Dodgers said they would. Baseball, I know, wants to honor Fernando, and there may not be a dry eye in the house before that game. And it's too bad to have this as a backdrop for the World Series. But, 63 years old, I'm telling you, Tony, we know that's too young. And
him and my dad born the same year, 1960.
Oh, yeah. I did not make that connection. What do you think about the World Series, Tony? Are we ready to talk about it yet, or is it still
I'm ready to talk about
too early?
What's that?
The World Series?
Yeah, who's playing?
Hilarious.
I think this should be a good World Series. I do. I think as a baseball fan, you hope that both offenses come in like feeling good, swinging good, because that'll provide the type of World Series I think we all want to see. These guys have these top seller in uniforms. You probably got like the top 3 sellers in uniforms, all on the diamond facing one another.
You know what I think is going to happen is what almost always seems to happen on stuff like this. You've got Judge, you've got Soto, you've got Stanton on one side, you got Mookie, Freeman, and Ohtani on the other. It'll be like Tommy Edman type of guy that'll decide the series.
I can see that.
Whoever has their Tommy Edman, I think, will win this World Series. You would think on paper the Dodgers do have an advantage because they have a deeper bullpen. The Yankees don't have. I don't think the Yankees have 9 guys they can roll out there like the Dodgers have in the bullpen. But
and listen, I think the wild card for the Dodgers is once again Walker Buehler. I think he's he gives them the extra starter advantage if he's right, if he's throwing the ball like he has the last couple times. It's been pretty good.
Yeah, and Yamamoto, if he's good again.
Yeah.
Then
Well, I was already counting him as
counting him as being
Yamamoto
good.
and Flaherty being
okay.
being okay.
The Yankees will go Cole and they'll go Rodon. I don't know what else. Clark Schmidt. I mean, they don't have anybody.
I think what's the lefty
Nestor
that does all the
Cortez?
weird stuff? Yeah, Nestor. I think he's trying to
trying to get back
trying to
in.
make his way back for it.
It'll be fun for those guys.
Yeah,
And Dodger fans are going to love this. Yankee fans are going to love this. No one else is
They're
going to
the
love
only
this.
ones that are going to love this.
Thanks again to Dylan Hernandez for giving us some great insight on the passing of Fernando Valenzuela. We've got Daily Gambit, and also in the 3 o'clock hour, Gwynn Chris FAQ. Scraby's going to try to embarrass us. Probably we'll end up turning the tables on him. That's how it usually works. Look at that eye roll.
Did everybody hear my eye roll?
We coming back.
segments in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Into the 3 o'clock hour, we roll. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. Daily Gambit coming up here quickly. We are not going to dance around today.
Scraby's not allowing any
we're going to get
any foo-foo stuff
We're going to get right to it.
That's not what I said.
You're running a very tight ship today.
You said that we would do the talking after.
Yes.
So that's all I was saying, brother.
He was the one who said we can't talk
You can't
foo-foo
react
stuff.
to all the hecklers, man. You just can't. You can't take debate all the time.
Did
man.
one person tell you in the last 24 hours that the guys are going over their time limit per segment?
No, I think these are the things I think about before I go to bed.
And then you come back to us with, a lot of people are telling me that you guys are going over the time. And we ask you, how many people is that? And you go, one.
That's not
It's
true.
always one.
Chris is as bad a storyteller as I am.
You react to every note that you get.
right.
You guys, hey, look, if you want to change the direction of the show
That
out
is
there,
not true.
just send Scraby a note and say,
you
you
guys
got to do more of
let me
this.
tell you,
and then
guys-
he'll put it in.
Let me tell you, you guys in the chat have far more influence than you
Well,
think.
the chat said we shouldn't talk Lakers basketball at all this year. So
they're out of luck on that one. They're-
Yeah,
you
they're
didn't
gonna
hear
lose
me
out
say
on that
anything
one.
about that.
because you know that's a losing battle for
Yeah,
you.
it's
That's
not going to happen.
All right, let's get to the Daily Gambit.
Yeah,
now.
we're doing it again.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. First bet that we made yesterday would be Sam Houston State and Florida International University Conference U.S. action last night. Maybe one of the most boring Conference U.S. action
Glad
games
none of
ever.
us watched it.
I know.
assuming
Chris
we
went
didn't.
FIU. Tony and I went Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State won 10-7, so we didn't even cover the spread.
Scoreless first half.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's what they wanted.
That
last
would have
night.
been a tough watch right there, it sounds like.
Next one was UTEP and La Tech, or Louisiana Tech, over under 49 total points. In this one, Chris and Tony went under. I went over. Another low-scoring college football game on a Tuesday night. 14-10 Louisiana Tech won.
Wow.
So
All right.
25 points below.
Good
the
stuff
number.
last night for those two games.
Now, on the other hand, the Celtics scored a ton of points. They were 6-point favorites in the game. Chris and Tony took the Knicks. I chose the Celts. And the Celts won by, let's see if I can do this in my head, 23 points, 132-109.
Did everybody see they got the record, 29 three-pointers. They got it with 8.5 minutes left in the game. They had all that time to make one more three-pointer and break the record.
Yeah.
And they missed their last 13 tries trying to break the record, and so they didn't break the record. They just tied it.
Is
That's
that the
kinda weird.
basketball gods telling them they're shooting too many threes?
It was kind of strange because
No,
they had,
it's a reminder of what can happen.
right, it's not that easy to make them. They just make it look easier. When they had 29, they were 29 for 48 at that point. So that was over 60% they were hitting threes. That's unconscious.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That is unconscious. I mean, that's
I don't care who you are.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You could stand there unguarded, right, all day and not be able to hit 60%. Crazy.
That is crazy. Someone on the chat yesterday was very upset that you said they were ruining basketball.
Well, I'll
The
say it
Celtics.
again.
Well, it's
I
'cause
mean,
it's
I
the-
think
it's
they're
the
ruining
Celtics.
basketball.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Okay.
They shoot too many threes, and if you watch
Why
the
is
game
that
last
ruining
night,
basketball?
I'll tell you, I got a great.
it
I
gets
have
a little old.
I have a
Okay.
You know, it's kind of. We talked about this. It's a little bit like the home run. Like, remember, baseball was flooded with everybody going deep. It's not as cool. Like, I mean, it's fun when it comes in a moment, but if everybody is just hitting homers like all the time, like
I think they've taken away a lot of the fluidity of the game.
for sure.
All
strategy.
five players
And by the
in
way,
motion.
everybody's not a good shooter, and now everybody, you know, this is the Steph Curry effect. This is
Yeah.
coming past half court. We're launching.
I'm
Get 'em
pulling
up.
one.
Yeah, then they can make them too.
Caitlin Clark effect.
And Sabrina Ionescu.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue. I mean, the Celtics won the title, so, they did what they needed to do, but I don't think it's great for basketball.
Yeah, that was a pretty weak
Just like I
game.
don't think look, if the Dodgers win the World Series, I'll still say I don't think it's good for baseball. The bullpen game, but it may help them win a World Series.
Well, they're going to punt.
So they're doing what they need to do. I just don't think it's great for the game.
Well, the Dodgers are going to punt on 2 games during the World Series.
They just haven't decided which ones yet.
And Dave Roberts is going to show incredible restraint.
Ken Rosenthal will tell us during the series.
Because of his incredible struggle to lose a game.
Yeah.
Next bet, Minnesota and the Lakers over under 22.5 points. Chris went over. Tony and I went under. Tony and I were correct, 110-103.
Tony was right because Julius Randle just looked lost out there with that
Thank you,
team.
AD.
They said maybe 100 times on the broadcast about how Minnesota wasn't trying. They were like, their effort is just terrible.
Yeah, no, Stan Van Gundy said that a couple times. For
Really?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was not happy.
He was like, this is inexcusable.
He was not happy with their defensive effort. He said, this is not he kept saying, this is not the Minnesota Timberwolves team we saw in the conference finals, right? Yeah.
More points. Jalen Brunson or Jason Tatum. You guys went with Brunson. I went with Tatum. Tatum had 37.
This is
Brunson
why you
had
can't
22.
be a hater when you're gambling.
Yeah,
My
right.
whole list is me being a hater.
We picked against him because we don't like that. He had 8 of 11 threes. He shot 72% from the arc.
Who had more points, Ant-Man or Anthony Davis?
This is where it cost me to be a hater.
I know. No, it
I
cost
went
me
Ant-Man.
too. I went Ant-Man. Tony went AD. AD had 36.
That's the moral of
Ant-Man
the
had
story.
27.
Don't be a hater.
Now, LeBron James
Scraby's
over under.
never listened to that.
I'm winning all my bets
message.
here except for that one. Over under 39.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Chris and Tony went over. I went under. He had 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists.
It was kind of a pedestrian
25.
night.
It was a very pedestrian
for
day.
him. I mean, the Lakers
And
won
they
despite
still won.
Yeah, they won despite him not putting up big numbers, and they couldn't make a 3-point shot. So I think that bodes well for the Lakers moving forward. All right, here are the current standings. Tony's bringing up the rear this week, 4-9. I fell to 6-7. Scraby's on top, 7-6. As we head into tonight's action.
Dude, Tony and I have like a little blind spot on the cameras where we keep giving each other one finger salutes when we're angry.
They can't get to me.
Yeah.
They tried to follow me too, but it never quite got there.
Nope.
Really? You mean like you do this
There's
and
like
then
a
it
Bermuda
doesn't show
Triangle
up on the camera?
Yeah, there's a Bermuda Triangle like right here.
But if I do it to you, will it pick me up?
Probably.
Yeah.
How about if I'm like right about here?
No, you're not on camera. You're good. That's your Bermuda Triangle.
All right, we got more college football tonight, and this is an interesting one. Undefeated Liberty plays at winless Kennesaw State.
Oh,
As you might imagine, Liberty is a big favorite by 27 points. In this one,
Can I say something I just realized? If we tell people to gamble responsibly, we shouldn't make bets on Liberty.
Well, this is
and
all we
Kennesaw
got.
State.
Hey,
we're not making bets. We're just picking the games.
picking a game, baby.
Just picking the game. There's no money exchanging hands here.
You're right. So 27 points.
27 for Liberty. Tony, they cover on the road against the winless Owls of Kennesaw State.
They do. Liberty, 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 liberty.
All right.
What are the
Scraby?
Liberty?
Liberty Flames.
Well, a flame will kill an owl, so I'll go with Liberty.
Liberty.
That's your logic?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'll take Liberty
flame
also.
will kill an
Sweep.
owl.
All right, this one I put in because this is an astonishing number for over-under. Middle Tennessee tonight plays Jacksonville State. The over-under number for these two teams, 63.5. Most over-unders are in the 40s,
Yeah,
maybe the
that
low
is a
50s.
incredible number.
This is 63.5, Scraby.
Oh, great.
Leads a final
Let me
score
do a
of
little
34
research
to
No,
31.
don't do any research. Oh, I guess you're supposed to gamble responsibly. So do some
Responsibly.
research. Go
Middle
ahead.
Tennessee.
Jacksonville State, 63.5. That's 9 touchdowns plus a half a point.
I don't know. Middle Tennessee just 8 days ago beat. Wait, they're playing again? Wait, hold on.
8 days, bro. That's a week ago.
Hold on. Middle Tennessee and never mind. Kennesaw State was the previous bet. Middle Tennessee beat Kennesaw State.
This is some great research you're doing right now.
Middle Tennessee beat Kennesaw State 14-5 8 days ago. So I'm gonna say this goes under.
Under?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Middle Tennessee can't score more than 14 on Kennesaw.
Pretty good research, Scraby. I'll go with you. Under.
Okay.
Tony, 63.5 points. That's a lot.
I'm gonna say that it must have been raining or something crazy that day.
Okay, so you're gonna
I'm gonna go over.
Oh,
They're not putting this number out there just for like no reason.
No, they would never put a number like that high. It was
you know
not going to come close. All right, NBA tonight. The Bulls make their debut in New Orleans. I got to tell you, saw the preview on ESPN today. Bulls over/under for wins 28.5, which is awful. And the guy who was writing it said, "Pick under." Like they're not even going to get that many. Like, wow.
That is crazy.
So with that in mind, they play at New Orleans tonight against the Pelicans. Pelicans are favored by 5.5. I, of course, have to take the Bulls and take my lumps. Tony. What do you think?
I'm going to go New Orleans.
You usually give me a little moral support, but not tonight.
I can't on this one.
No moral support tonight.
By the way, did you know the Jacksonville State nickname is the Gamecocks?
Thank you.
Is Zion Williamson playing?
For New Orleans?
Here we go with this already.
Starting in already with that, huh?
Yes,
he's motivated.
He's skinnier.
I'll say Pelicans.
Pelicans, yeah. Well, I'm just giving money away there. The Intuit Dome debuts tonight in Los Angeles.
Oh, the Clip.
The Clips, home opener. Are you into going up to the Intuit Dome at some point?
I am.
Everybody says it's pretty.
I got a connection there. I got to connect there.
All right.
Oh, hey, now. We're talking the break.
It's not going to bring you or I.
I think it would be nice.
We're down the list on that. Intuit Dome.
Who's going to drive?
I'll drive.
Yeah, but you want to go on his car or mine?
I'll take his car. I'll take his car. I'll take Tony's car.
I'm going then.
I'll drive whatever car you want me to. I'm a good driver.
You're not driving my car.
Oh, I would totally. I am very responsible.
But you're not driving my car.
It's not that you can't drive his car. It's that he won't let you drive his car.
All right. Clippers are home to Phoenix tonight at the Intuit Dome. Phoenix is favored by 5.
Ooh.
And
no Kawhi tonight.
No Kawhi. Tony's up. Phoenix 5 at the Clippers.
I can't pick the Clippers. Give me Phoenix.
Yeah, that's against your thinking.
I know they got a nice new shiny facility and all.
Yeah, did they debut the Intuit Dome?
And they got one out. They opened the one up out here too. Their little minor league
Front
joint.
Wave Arena. Phoenix, you said -5?
Correct.
I'm gonna go Clips.
Not a boy.
The Suns have been so disappointing over the years, right?
They got Durant and they got Beal and they got Booker.
And what happened?
There's still nothing last year.
Beal Book Durant.
That's a lot. Clippers have not even Paul George anymore.
No.
Who do the Clippers have? Harden?
James.
Is Harden playing by himself tonight?
James the Beard Harden.
Who else do the Clippers have? I got to do a little research myself.
Chris Kaman. I heard he's coming back.
Kaman. Wowzers.
I used to
the
play fantasy
Clippers
basketball.
lineup is looking a little light.
I can't even think who's in that bad.
There's no Norman Powell was our guy from here. That's Norman Norman.
He's in there.
I mean, he's on the lineup.
Yeah,
he's in the
Does
roster.
Russell Westbrook play for the
No,
Clippers?
he's with Denver.
No,
That guy moves around more than James Harden does.
The Clippers are looking a little light. I'm gonna have to go with Phoenix here. Sorry, Scrape.
You don't have to apologize to me.
All right, the highest number over/under for scoring points tonight of all of the NBA games belongs to Tyrese Maxey, Philadelphia.
76er.
29.5 points over/under as they play the Bucks. Now, I think the reason he's got all these points is because Joel Embiid is not playing.
And Paul George.
And Paul George, thank you. So Tyrese Maxey's got to carry the load against the Bucks. Scraby, will he be over 29.5 points? It's the highest number in the league tonight.
I'm going to go over.
You're going to go over.
Yep.
I will say one thing about Tyrese Maxey and watching him play. He will give you your money's worth.
Yes, he will.
I think he'll shoot enough to go over 29.5, so I'll take him. Tony?
Yeah, I'll take it too.
Over. Steph Curry, 4.5 3-pointers tonight in his debut at Portland.
Book it.
And Chris is first. I'm going to say under. I think that's a lot. Steph eases into the season. Although he could make 5 in the first quarter,
he don't
and then
have
I
to,
lose my money.
He can just throttle back.
Tony, you're going over?
Over.
Over.
Over. Wow, you guys are both jumping on that. And we got one NHL game tonight. The Washington Capitals at the Philadelphia Flyers. It's the only game on the board. Washington is favored by 1.5. They're 4-1. The Flyers are 1-4. Alex Ovechkin is 41 goals away from catching
Still
Gretzky.
41. He didn't get one recently.
He didn't get one the other night, but he still needs 41. He's got one this year. Tony, who do you like here? The Caps or the? I don't think you can do the Flyers in one syllable like we're supposed to.
The Flies.
The Flies, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys just done? Are you guys just doing the one finger salute to each other constantly throughout the show?
He wasn't doing one finger. He was just pointing. He was being funny. He
I
says
did this,
316.
Chris. Check my watch.
Well, if you make a pick, I mean, who'd you
Caps.
take?
The Flies.
Yeah, you took the Flies.
Caps.
Flies.
He actually put Flies.
I did.
Caps. Flies at home. Getting the 1.5. Traffic's coming up next. More Gwynn and Chris after that. We got to hurry.
From the 97.3 The Fan.
Gravy spend most of the day trying to tell us what to do. We're not really paying a whole lot of attention. We haven't talked about our fantasy football league this year, probably because all three of us are 3-4. None of us are all that excited about it.
I had to battle to get back here, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Right, you
now.
won your last two to get back to 3-4.
Yeah.
Scraby, whose name is Champ, is here.
Well, I'm the champ of the league.
We understand that,
You're
but most
3 and
people
4 too, huh?
Most people don't run around and pat themselves on the back the entire following season by calling them their name. Champ is here,
Well, most people aren't me, Chris.
which is a good thing.
You clearly haven't met Scraby, apparently.
I have the case in this league that you have a ton of points scored against you. I've scored a decent amount of points, and I actually wanted to ask you guys about something about our league for next year.
Next year already.
Yes, because I've been talking to someone who's doing one of those points leagues where you get a win if you're in the top 6 of points scored that week. And so your record, so it doesn't have anything to do with a head-to-head matchup. You set your lineup, and then if you score the most points, 1 through 6, you get a win. 7 through 12, you get a loss.
You know what this is like?
What?
This is like the Dodgers getting beaten after having the bye and then wanting the rules changed to kind of fit where they're at.
No, I'm the defending champ. I
don't
already
like
won
this.
the old way.
I don't like this because then I can't root against anybody.
Right.
I'd be rooting against everyone in football every weekend.
Yeah,
that would be
that's
too
not
much.
fun. It's not it.
It's hard enough to root against one quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and somebody's tight end.
Right. A flex.
And a flex.
Yeah.
But if I have to root against every player in the league, it wouldn't be fun. It would be too much.
I think it would be fun just because, A, I've never played in one of those before, and B,
well, go play in one.
Chris wants me out of the league.
Well, you were the guy pushing to kick people out of the league in past years.
Well, yes, because there are certain people in the league.
Are you going to kick Sammy Lev out? He's at 2-5. He's off to a bad start, Sammy Lev.
Yeah, Sammy, I told you got to have a good showing in your first year, or else you're
on the chopping block, buddy.
Odd Thomas is at 6-1.
God, that's
so is
annoying.
our guy from KSON,
and
John.
so is our KSON guy, John. 6-1. They're the 2
John is usually
division leaders.
To be fair, John is consistently at the top.
Consistency
of the leaderboard.
good. I'm playing him this week. The odds say that I'm favored by 9.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Doesn't mean I'll win,
Give it to him.
but I'm gonna give him my best.
Now, in another league with my friends, which has the punishment, last place punishment, I am one of the teams. I'm 6-1.
Wait, what is the punishment? Do you guys come up with it?
I don't remember what the punishment is this year. And
is this the same group that had you
Yes.
where it was like a Speedo or?
Yes. Well, I ran the 5K, the
that
Rock
you
and
never
Roll 5K.
ended up having to
No,
do.
because they forgot. And I did all my notifying. I did all of my stuff to the T. They could not bring me a costume, so I didn't wear one. But I'm 6-1 in that league. Second fewest points scored, and least points least points against. So I'm getting real lucky in that league.
Real
Yes,
lucky, huh?
that sounds like you are.
Second fewest, and then most.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we are down to
least
8
points.
teams in the Survivor
Correct.
pool for the belt.
Yes, 8 teams.
8 teams are still left. It's the same 8 that were left last week.
Yeah, they all picked. There's only one team that was picked twice last week. Everybody else picked a bunch of different ones.
Got it.
So it's. I mean, what is it? Week 8 now.
Week 8 is coming up.
Man,
The
these
Kansas
people are
City
good.
Chiefs, by the way, today traded for DeAndre Hopkins.
It's a nice move for them.
I don't think he's.
DeAndre
How
can be
close to a
healthy.
99 is he now? Because I remember when he was a 99, I was like,
it used to irritate.
it
the hell out
irritated
of
me
you.
because I never thought he was that good.
He's probably like a 90 now.
He's a 90 now.
Yeah. 88.
All right. Other NFL news: Bryce Young will be back in the lineup for the Panthers.
Good for Bryce. Maybe not.
He gets back in there after Andy Dalton was hurt in that car crash earlier this week. Nothing serious for Andy Dalton, but Bryce Young will get back in there for the Panthers. And the other NFL note just came in here a little bit ago. Robert Saleh is back working for
49ers.
the Packers. He has joined Matt LaFleur in what they're calling, quote, a fluid role. Saleh was at practice today, keeping an eye on the offense. LaFleur and Saleh have a long history.
Wait, he's keeping an eye on the offense?
Today he was, but he's going to do some other things. He's just going to do all kinds of...
It's fluid.
It's fluid. Saleh has been staying at LaFleur's house this week.
It's always kind of awkward.
Well, it kind of sounds awkward to me, but... I mean, I guess Saleh doesn't live in Green Bay, so he's got to have somewhere to go.
There's not any hotels in Green Bay.
If you want to go even more awkward, they shared an apartment that had 2 beds and a kitchen table, but no chairs.
Okay.
As assistants in 2004 at Central Michigan.
That they knew each other for a long time.
They've known each other for a long time. 2004.
Okay, that makes sense.
They were together at Central Michigan. So
Chippewas.
I don't think.
Right?
Yes, the Chips. I don't think that hurts the Packers. Saleh's a pretty good, pretty smart guy.
Especially if he starts messing around with that defense over there, that's his forte.
Did you guys hear the new thing about Kyle Shanahan?
No, we don't really pay much attention to 49er news
did you hear
outside
about
of
the
what you
locker
tell us.
room talk that the reporters saw him and Brock Purdy having after the game on Sunday? Apparently,
hold on, time out. Before we pursue this,
yes.
Is there any truth to what you're about to say?
Yeah. He addressed it.
He addressed it.
Yeah, he did. So he was talking to Brock Purdy after the game with John Lynch, and all the reporters were like standing in the corner, and Kyle Shanahan's like back was to them, and it looked like they were kind of having a spirited conversation. And then John Lynch points to the reporters, and Kyle Shanahan looks over his shoulder and it was like, oh, and then he starts like joking around with Brock Purdy, and then they asked him about it. He said, "Oh, it's no big deal. We were just talking after the game like we usually do." And the reporters were like, "They've never talked after the game." So, and he said that the reporters were creepers, and they're saying also,
who's they?
Like reporters and things, and like prognosticators are saying that this is how Kyle Shanahan does things. Once he can't get what he needs out of his quarterback, he throws them to the wolves, which is kind of true.
Seen that.
Trey Lance, Jimmy G, that's about it. But Brock Purdy might be next.
Brandon Allen is your next quarterback. Do you know who that is even?
Yeah, I think he played for the Rams a couple years ago.
I don't think he's going to throw Brock Purdy away for Brandon Allen.
You don't have a Brock Purdy sitting on that bench over there behind Brock Purdy.
I think maybe Kyle Shanahan's thinking, wow, is this the guy we want to give $60 million to?
Okay.
Game manager.
So sorry to see the 49ers collapsing before our eyes.
There's some major drama going on.
And you guys got the Cowboys this week, right?
Oh, yeah, that's an easy game, though.
How about them Cowboys?
What if they beat you guys?
That would be code red.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because the 49ers
because they can't stop the one thing that the 49ers do better than everybody, which is run the football.
49ers may not win another game until December 22nd when they go to Miami. Their next 6 games are Dallas, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Green Bay, Buffalo, Chicago, Rams, who already beat them.
I think the Rams are going to.
Yeah, I know. They may win one of those games, too.
Seattle owes you guys because you guys snuck away.
They're coming down to Santa Clara. And Christian McCaffrey's supposed to be coming back soon.
Maybe.
I just find it ironic. You and I were all excited about the 49er-Dolphin game this year, which is December 22nd, like
You're
I said.
You're not as excited anymore?
Well, I mean, both teams could be like 6 games under 500 by then.
It's the toilet bowl.
It could be. All right, we'll take a break because we're running late talking about Scraby stuff. See, this is how it goes.
No, I told you guys.
No, this is how it goes. You bring up the 49ers, then we got to rag on them for a few minutes, and then we're out over time.
Tricks us every time.
We're coming back with Gwynn and Chris FAQ. Find out what that all means next.
Ben and Wood.
Try Spiro's for authentic Mediterranean cuisine in Coronado or La Jolla. For dining or takeout options, visit Spiro Cuisine, SpiroCuisine.com. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, getting set for a little, what is this called again? FAQ?
Gwynn and Chris FAQ, frequently asked questions.
Let's get to it.
Designed to embarrass us.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Damick.
Traffic is sponsored by California Coast Credit Union. Getting a little busier on our roads, guys. Got a collision in the center divide on southbound 5 near Washington Street. Also crash on the Coronado Bridge, heading off the island right before the 5. Car and motorcycle involved in this one. Traveling on southbound 163 right before the 8. We have reports of some construction debris in the right lane. And southbound 805 right around Imperial. There is a collision involving a couple vehicles. That's over to the right shoulder. With MasterCard local Cal Coast Credit Union members can earn 5% cash back on purchases made with Cal Coast MasterCard credit and debit cards every time they shop at participating businesses. Learn more at calcoastcu.org/shop-local. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Take it away, Scraby. Since there's no intro for this,
Yes,
I will just
correct.
introduce the host of this segment.
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you very much.
You are the host.
Matthew complaining Scraby.
Side note, Zion Williamson is already missing his first game of the year, everybody. I'm not kidding either. He's got an illness or something.
That's funny.
Dude will find any way not to play, huh?
I'm not participating in this with you, Scraby.
He will find any way to take a night off.
He sneezed on his way to the game, and he doesn't want to put anybody else in harm's way.
He's got the sniffles.
He's got the sniffles.
All right, so here's how it works. We have 4 types of questions. We have Chris questions, Tony questions, Scraby questions, and then group questions. Chris is going to roll the die. Anything from 1 to 3 will tell us who's going to answer. 4 through 6 is a group question. So, Chris, go ahead and
Who's
roll.
1, 2, or 3? Who's who?
Chris is 1, Tony is 2, I am 3.
I'm not lying. It's a 3.
Oh, it's a me question. So
Scraby has to answer the first
Chris,
question.
do you have the questions in front of you? You're going to have to choose a question for me.
I
in
can
my
choose any
section.
question I
any
want
question
out
on
of
that
here?
list. Yes.
Okay. These are no good yet. Oh, those are Chris questions. Here we go.
He's looking through the questions.
What food do you think should be illegal?
Oh, yes.
What does that mean?
Only Scraby could answer a question
If
like
I
this.
could ban one food from this earth, it's probably Chris's crackers. And I'm not
you
kidding.
knew that was
Thank
coming,
you.
Chris.
I am not kidding. I hate those things so much.
Why?
I don't know.
What is it?
I don't
about
know.
them?
It's something that I'm not sure of. But if we are actually going to choose a food item, any sort of fish, get out of here. It's so gross.
Get out of here.
Fish is disgusting. So there, that food should be illegal.
Has anybody out there ever gone to dinner and ordered fish and they bring the whole fish
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and the eye is looking at you?
I don't know if I've had the eye,
Oh,
but I've had
I
a whole
have.
fish.
I had to send it back.
Really?
Yeah,
You
I
could
couldn't
eat
do it.
around the eye, man.
No. No, I didn't like that.
You wanted the eye not there.
I wanted the whole head not there, but the
Oh.
eye included. I mean, for some reason, it seemed like I was really eating something as opposed to a piece of fish. I know it's the same. I know it's the exact same, but it was just what it seemed like. Okay.
Someone in the chat says candy corn should be illegal. I love candy corn.
Candy corn.
Agreed. My daughter loves
What's
candy
that?
corn.
The,
That's the
small
orange and yellow triangles?
Yeah,
Get those up out of here.
I love
black
them.
licorice. Get it out of
Yeah,
here.
get that out of here as well.
Get it
that
outta here.
as well. Adam, our boss, said pickles and or mayonnaise.
Pickles. Get them out of here.
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
I don't know about mayonnaise. I can
without that.
tolerate
All right,
it a
Chris,
little
who'd
bit.
you get?
2.
Tony question.
Tony question. You ask.
All right, let's see. Here's a good one. How do you react to stress and changes at work and in life?
Stress.
Yes.
I get quiet.
Oh, is that true?
That's very true. When I'm stressed, I generally stop talking.
But what's going on inside?
A lot.
Like,
there's a lot. I probably have to stop myself from having the conversations out loud
You
that I'm having,
bite your tongue.
that I'm having in
Not
my
a
head.
bad move.
Yes.
Yeah, no, when I'm stressed, I usually go introvert.
How about when you're in a discussion with your wife? Like,
Well, Chris, I am trying to learn how to not be reactive.
yeah.
It's trying to do better at, like, I think sometimes when I'm having a passionate discussion with my wife, my radio voice can take over.
Oh, it can get loud.
I can not yelling, but projecting.
Yeah, I get it.
And I'm working on keeping that permanently turned down.
I see. When I have a discussion with my wife, my radio voice, she'll start getting mad at me for talking too loud, and then we forget what we're arguing about.
That's virtually what I'm saying.
My wife will say, "Close the window," because you're talking too loud. She don't want anybody to hear that this is happening.
Right.
So then we have a big argument about the fact I'm talking too loud, and then 10 minutes go by, and then we're like, "What were we arguing about?"
That's good.
I don't even remember.
Hilarious, actually.
Yeah, it's happened.
That's hilarious.
It's
That's a
happened.
good one, Tony.
All right, good.
I just freak out. Everybody knows what's going on in my mind.
Yes, we know.
Yeah, we all see when Scraby's stressed, it comes through in every form of his life. Texting, you know he's stressed.
My hair usually is a mess.
He usually is clammy at that point.
I'm sweaty for sure.
Yeah,
I'm a little red in the face.
You're a dead giveaway when you're stressed.
And then I look up at the guys and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong? We have to talk about this, I see." All right, Chris, roll the die one more time.
There's another 2. Give Tony a break. 5, all of us.
Okay, so a group question. This is a good one. We're going to start with you, Chris. What do you laugh at, but you shouldn't? I guess I could start because I have my answer.
Maybe that'll help me.
Okay. My answer, and Chris has called me evil for this before, and it's slightly evil, but when people get hurt, I laugh like crazy. My dad fell down the stairs one time, and it was like one of those movie things where it was like, doo, 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 doo. And then on the ground, and I was like, He's like, "I'm actually hurt here," and it was just so funny to me.
I have.
Did you rush over to his aid at the very
After
end?
I realized,
After you were done
he was
laughing?
actually hurt, yeah, I went over there.
I know one thing I would laugh at, but I've never seen it before. I want one of those motorcycles that buzzes by me at 150 miles an hour to just lose a little balance and kind of have a safe crash into the bushes. You know, and I want to see it. Like, I want it to happen in front of me.
At it?
Yeah, I would laugh. I mean, I don't want the person on flames and, you know, in 14 different broken pieces.
That's an intrusive thought.
You
right
go,
there.
ha!
But, you know, when they whiz by in my car, like, where'd that guy, you know, I kind of want him to lose control and have a safe landing, but smash into something.
Okay.
That would cause me to laugh.
Tony?
I guess along the same lines. It doesn't have to be a motorcycle. It'd be a car, too. You know, one of those folks that is, like, dying to get by you.
Yeah.
Like right on your bumper, and you
Yeah.
like move over, and they're like doing it to everybody.
Yeah.
You just, you know, you wish there's a highway patrolman up there somewhere. Whoop whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Whoop.
And then you laugh as they're
And
pulled over.
in my head, I envision it being able to like pull over close to that lane, roll my window down, and be like, "Ha!"
Can you please do this next time? I told you guys that one time where I saw a guy speeding down the highway in the rain, and then I saw them crash, and I was like, they weren't hurt or anything, but I was kind of happy about it. I was like, this is what you get for being an idiot.
It's pretty normal, I think.
Nate says, or what do you laugh at but you shouldn't? Nate said this show. Zing!
That's fine.
All right, Nate. 1.
So that is a Chris question. Do you want me to do it, Tony? Or
I
do
got you.
Okay. Because there's like 5 or 6 that I could totally see. Chris having.
Here's a couple of here, right here. What's your no? How about this one? What is a subject you wish you could talk about on the radio?
Oh,
Like, meaning you've been in sports your entire career. Like, what other subject would you really want to get into?
I don't think I think first thing is I don't think I'm probably knowledgeable about another subject to have a radio show and talk about it.
But you're a broadcaster. I could see them giving you like a pop culture. Well, never mind. Let me take that back. I could see them saying, "Hey, I know you've never done it before, but why don't we give it a go?"
I would like to be smart enough in the computer wizardry world to be able to do a show on that.
To do a show on computers.
To help people with their phones, their computers, with their internet, without it would be fun to be that guy.
Okay.
Because I'm so far from that guy. I don't know anything. And I'd like to know some of that stuff.
You would like to be an expert.
I guess that's where I'd go.
Okay.
But just the way the question was phrased.
What about politics?
No, thank you.
I've done news radio.
I'd want to do like economics. Like if I knew enough about that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I could see something like that.
All right. Let's roll again, Chris. Chris goes with.
I gotta say
stuff.
that. Yeah, not politics. 2.
That's me.
All right, Chris, you want to choose it or me?
I'll do this one for Tony Gwynn Jr.
Tony, yes.
Tony Gwynn Jr.
Oh, the fourth one is great.
How do you react? You just said that one.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I may have taken that out. Maybe it's the fifth one.
If you could be better at one part of your job on this show, what would it be?
Remembering names.
Oh.
Very good. I was ready for that one.
Like,
you were ready.
But I don't want you to ever remember names because I love when you say my man.
Like Jeff Goff?
No, I if I could remember names like on a dime.
I can't do it either.
I can't
though.
either.
There's no way. I mean, there's too many people that
I wish I was
kind of
good at-
think they know you and you don't really know them.
You know there are people
Or
who
you
are,
do and you just can't place it.
You know how there are people out there that are really good at like getting a first and last name, like reading it no matter how crazy it looks.
Yep.
I wish I could be that person.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That'd be fun. But that would be
fun.
like a superpower to me, being able to remember people's names. We got number 6, another group question.
All right, a group question. Let's see. This one makes no sense, but I'm curious for the answers. Tony, you're up first. What's your favorite planet in the solar system and why?
Is Earth not in the running?
I mean, Earth is in the running.
Okay.
But
I don't want to use Earth. I mean,
yeah. We already.
Earth is fading quickly, so they're losing ground.
Saturn.
Really? Why is that?
I like the ring, and I like the fact that it's like it's like below freezing. Like it's super cold there.
Yeah, it's an
I don't know why I
inhabitable
like it,
environment.
but I just think that
I think the rings are cool.
that one's kind of cool for me.
The rings are cool. Chris, what's
I was
going
to say Saturn because of the rings. I don't have anything else. I would give Uranus a look because of the other pronunciation of
I was
it.
waiting for someone to say that.
People do call it Uranus to avoid saying your anus, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
Uranus is a planet,
hilarious.
Everybody.
Uranus.
Yeah.
You know, is Pluto? Pluto's not a planet
It's
anymore.
not officially a planet anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
I really like. I really like Mars.
It's
Mars
the most
seems very
inhabitable one,
cool.
it seems like.
Yeah, but I feel like there's got to be something living on Mars,
Yeah.
and so one day we're gonna find it, and one day they're gonna come kill us all. So
Did you like the movie The Martian?
yeah,
Or it was the book and then the movie
yes,
with
the
Matt Damon.
movie was great. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good one.
my mom watches that movie maybe every day.
Every day.
Yeah, not every day, but if there is a movie that she watches over and over, it's
She
The
likes
Martian.
that.
likes that
All
one.
right, good.
Hey, if the other planet might be like Jupiter because it's so big and it's got so many crazy storms, it's got the big spot on it. I think that's cool.
Okay. That's enough planet talk. 3.
3, which
Scraby.
is a Scraby question. So Tony, you go. Tony is deeply reading.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with the best one.
There's a couple on here I could ask you. What is your worst breakup story? Have we heard this already?
Ooh, yes.
Okay, let's go to this one. then.
Yes, it was the.
Do you really
Ohio.
hate Apple as much as you say you do, or is it a bit?
1 1,000,000%.
Get out of here. You do not.
You don't hate Apple.
1,000,000% I hate Apple.
don't
And
have
what they
to-
have done to the text
You
messaging
don't have
landscape.
to hate us to be us. Just
You
come
know,
on
now-
and join, brother.
If you guys update your phones, I'm starting to get connected with certain Apple people with the RCS because you can upgrade your phone or update your phone, and it will allow you guys to text now on a secure text messaging. For a long time, the reason I hated Apple so much, I lost dates because I would text in the green, and they would tell me, "Oh, I don't date green." I'm like, "Wait,
Oh, you lost like actual dates.
dates?" Like they
Oh,
canceled
yeah.
on me because I was an Android person.
Well, they
Yeah,
should.
that's how it should go.
But why
right?
do you hate Apple because of that? That's
That's
not Apple's fault. You just
It is
didn't-
Apple's fault because they
No.
refuse to let anybody text together. Apple is the one holding this all up because of the iMessage
It's
thing.
the trifling ladies you were trying to date that said, "I don't want to date you because you got
Trifling.
because you got a
I mean, your
Android."
ladies that you're trying to date are just like looking for an excuse.
This is a good one. They're textist. That is
They
true.
are texted.
Tony knows that this is a 100% true hatred
I don't get why.
we never understood
because
why.
I
everybody
don't get
always
it, though.
puts Android. There was a comedian once, and he was black, and he said, "I'm black, and the most discrimination I face is when I text someone who has an iPhone because I have an Android." That says something to me, Tony.
He's experienced the double time. Then I mean, that's rough for him.
All right, Chris, next one. Get me out of here.
Two.
2 is a Tony question.
Bring it.
What,
You go.
What's the weirdest food combination you really enjoy?
Weirdest, huh?
Yeah, like not oxtail. 'Cause that's
I
weird.
like frozen grapes and honey, but that's
That's
Is that-
Tony's
is
thing.
that-
That
is
was
that
one
a
of your-
weird one?
I don't know, but that was
At
something.
the
It was
time,
offbeat.
it was.
Yeah,
It
you
was
know, I
offbeat.
definitely,
Oxtail for Thanksgiving. You're the number one oxtail man on Thanksgiving.
I'm
I
sure
think
I'm
of
not
you
alone
every
on that one.
I think of you every Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I
You're the
think
oxtail.
maybe it is grapes and frozen grapes and honey.
Frozen grapes.
It's a great snack. I'm just saying, y'all.
Trying to think of something else that Tony eats. Food combination. Maybe
Those noodles.
the stinky noodles every day, but they're not like bad smelling like Chris's crackers.
The cracker thing is just a little bit crazy, honestly.
It really
we got to
is.
get past that at some point.
Let's keep this show on time. That was a nice Gwynn and Chris FAQ. Now we move on to Lil Chris versus the fans on the other side.
Yeah, we are into the second half of the program today. Hour number 3, 4:01 is the time. Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Scraby, Gwynn and Chris on 97.3 The Fan until 6 o'clock. Then Scraby sends us home, and he handles the final hour. Call it the Scraby Chronicles, although he has still not yet come around to that name.
I mentioned this last night. I like the name. Too long for the logo.
Just use it. Fit it in.
At this point, I
Use
think
a small,
everybody else is calling it the Chronicles.
Use a smaller font.
That means we need to go change things with Odyssey on their apps and on the website.
I think you can work
it's too
that.
much work.
I think
for
you can
them.
work that. I think you can work that.
Things that are worth having are worth working for.
It's all in the name.
Scraby Show works.
Scraby Show is
it's
boring.
He literally took the words out of my mouth.
Boring.
It's a little boring.
A little boring.
I think, as the kids say, corny.
That word's back?
Yeah, corny.
It's weak.
What's the other one? Lame is the other one. I think the young kids say.
Some of these are some of the words
They're
that I
coming
use.
back. Yeah, they're definitely
Corny?
coming back.
What
Yeah.
about fresh?
No, it's definitely not fresh.
Fresh is cool.
Yeah, that would be whatever.
Yeah,
the
you're not
opposite of
fresh.
that.
So fresh, Chris?
Not you. You're not drip either.
No, he has no drip.
No drip.
You know what, though? I did think about this today coming into work.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to have to stop giving you a hard time about your uniform.
Why?
Because as I got dressed today, I realized that I, too, have an off-season uniform that I pretty much come here in the same stuff mostly every day.
Your stuff is hip. His stuff is not drip. There's a big difference in the two. I will say that I'm closer to Scraby, unfortunately, because I'm not very hip either.
That's the beautiful thing about being, in radio.
No, not anymore.
No, because we got these
hello.
stupid cameras here.
Yes. Scraby, you'll be excited to know that in about 49 hours and 20 minutes, Shohei Ohtani will come to the plate.
Oh, okay.
Where's the
pop-up? Yeah. Where's your
pop-up,
pop-up, Scrabe?
I just put it up.
Wait, let me see. There he Yeah, 49 hours, 20 minutes, the World Series will get started. Yankees will bat first. And then, so Ohtani will have to wait, and then he'll lead off for the Dodgers. The pitching matchup is set for Game 1. Jack Flaherty for the Dodgers and Garrett Cole for the Yankees. The game and the series will take place with the sad backdrop of the passing of the legendary Fernando Valenzuela. Passed away last night at the age of 63. We talked about it with Dylan Hernandez earlier. If you want to hear some of that interview, I think you'd enjoy it. Dylan gave us a great look-see into the life and times of Fernando Valenzuela, who basically took over the world of baseball in the early 1980s and turned an entire country and an entire group of people onto the sport of baseball. He's responsible. Not alone, but he started a whole lot of it. Yeah. And Fernando is going to be missed. There's no question. And I'm sure there will be plenty about him once the World Series gets underway. Let's see. A couple of other quick notes just to catch you up on the world. The Chiefs today finalizing a deal for former Tennessee Titan wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. And the Panthers are going to go back to Bryce Young at quarterback. Andy Dalton was hurt in that fender bender car accident earlier this week. And the Browns say they're going to start Jameis Winston this week rather than Dorian Thompson-Robinson as they take over for the injured Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I think ultimate.
There they go again. You guys have just had it going all day with this stuff.
Just like
he's up here with his
we
sign
literally
languages
talked
again.
about this about 5 times today. Segment first, talk after.
No, you said to do it once earlier, and I'm recapping. I'm resetting the stage of what's happened on the day for people who just tuned in.
By the way, it is 4 o'clock.
It's the top of the hour.
That's what
People
we're
tuning in. I want to give them a little,
we were
update.
trained by our producer to make sure that we recap at the top
Just a
of
quick
4
recap.
o'clock.
That's all.
That's what I was told.
That's all there is. Lakers won last night. Celtics tied a record with 29 threes. Let's play Chris first to the fans because we can't wait another second longer.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
Howdy do.
now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know Gen 4.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
You can win a pair of tickets to Social Distortion at the Observatory, North Park. That's coming up on December 22nd. You'll be headed there. If you win Chris vs. the Fans today, Scrappy, hurry up and get the rules so we can get the game started.
Let's go, Scrappy.
You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get the question wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. Chris vs. the Fans is presented by SD Fat Loss. Lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. Visit sdfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation. All right.
What about if you're a first-time
player? Let us know before you get into it, and you'll get that first question for free.
All right.
All right, let's go to...
And don't mess around out there. We don't have time to dilly-dally. Scraby's in a hurry.
I don't like
so let's hurry up and just get your answers, and let's go.
I don't like how he's turning.
Go. Hurry. Who's up? Come on, let's go.
Chris in San Marcos, hello.
What's Chris, up, Chris? We don't have time for any pleasantries.
Hello.
Here's the first question.
Yes, hi.
Here we go,
Sorry,
Chris.
I'm sorry.
First-time player.
We don't have time for that either.
Here we go.
That
Question
saves time.
number 2.
Good luck, Chris.
Who had the best batting average in all of Major League Baseball last year?
The season just
Or
concluded.
the season that just ended.
All right.
Mr. Arise.
Mr. Arise. That is
He led
incorrect.
the National League, but he didn't have the best record. I think it was BWJ.
B-Dub J?
Bobby Witt Jr. took the American
Indeed,
League batting
it
title.
was.
Aaron Judge had a
Sorry,
chance.
Chris.
We actually don't have the end number on here, but I believe
I
it
have
was
it. I have
about
it. I have it. 332.
330.
Aaron Judge had a chance to win the Triple Crown.
Aaron Judge hit 322. Actually, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was 323, so he would have gotten it if Bobby Witt didn't.
There you go. All right.
Interesting.
New contestant.
Let's go to Eric in San Diego.
Eric in San Diego, come on down.
Hurry up, Eric. Get down the down to the stage
I'm taking my time.
Here we go.
Attaboy, Eric. Enjoy
First-time
your
player.
15 minutes of fame.
I
got
just heard
another
first-time
Oh, wait,
player.
okay. First-time player.
Second question. Here we go. What quarterback has been sacked most so far this NFL season?
Oh, that's cold-blooded.
I think I heard this. I want to say it's Deshaun Watson.
I want to say you are correct,
Hey,
my friend. Nice
good
work.
job.
And it's not even close.
Really?
It's like 10 sacks.
He's ahead by
Between first
10?
and
You think the
second.
offensive line was sabotaging
I
it?
think they may have been, honestly. There was a video of him, like, getting hit, and no one would help him up.
You should say, man, you on
Well,
your own.
wasn't it with the defensive end on the Browns?
Oh, Myles Garrett?
Myles Garrett came out and said, I mean, really, as a college and as a pro, he's been nothing but first class all the way, except for one thing. And people looked at Myles Garrett like, Miles,
That one
we're
thing,
not
bro.
buying that.
That's a big one thing.
Yeah, we can't buy that one.
All right, here we go. Question number 3.
Wow.
Chance to end it. Paul.
End it.
What pitcher did Sterling Hitchcock take down to beat the Braves in the final game of the NLCS in 1998?
So who made the final out?
No.
No.
What pitcher
What
took the
pitcher did he
loss?
face?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh, you mean in the last game?
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Who pitched for the Braves in that deciding game?
Correct.
Okay, I got you.
Pitcher for the Braves.
Game 6.
I'm going to go with John Smoltz.
Johnny Smoltz.
I think it was.
It was not.
Stay there.
Well, then. I mean, Maddox makes a lot of sense. Glavine makes some sense. Glavine!
Oh
He's
my
going
God.
with the lefty.
Oh,
He got it.
Sorry about that, Eric. I thought you had it. You're close, Eric. You're close.
Did they have any other pitchers except for Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox?
They did, but a couple of
did.
guys that they mixed in there. But when you get to a playoff, they
Danny
didn't use
Nagel
those
was
guys.
there
Yeah.
one time. They had a bunch of different fourths.
When
All
they
right,
got to
let's
that point, you
Go
know.
to Neil in San Carlos.
What's up, Neil?
Hey, Neil.
How are you?
Hey, guys. Hey, Scravy, quick question.
Yes.
Going back to last week, if a Bill's an animal, is a Philly Fanatics an animal too?
Oh, you don't even want to ask me this because absolutely
He brought that one up.
The Philly Fanatic is absolutely an animal.
Not an animal, buddy.
It's
He's not an animal.
absolutely an animal.
So it's a creature, not an animal.
Same thing.
Here we go. Question number 1.
Great question, Neil. Thank you for asking.
What are the colors of the 2 main M&Ms we see in commercials?
Geez.
I wasn't expecting this one.
Brown and yellow?
Brown and yellow.
Stay there.
Yellow.
This is a 1?
This is a 1.
Yeah, I don't know. Red and green.
Red and green.
You don't know. Oh, he doesn't watch commercials.
Doesn't watch
Still alive,
no
Neil.
commercials. Neil, nice work. You move on to the
What
next
is
round.
it?
The answer is red and yellow.
Oh, we each got one right.
Yeah.
Yellow's my favorite.
We each
Yeah.
got one right.
On to question number 2.
All right.
Dang, I can't even ask some of these because they just basically let out the bag here. The Rock played college football at what school?
The U.
Hey, you're on it. Well done, Neil.
Wayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Linebacker
For the U.
for the U. Here we go. Question.
The U is having quite the season
They
this
are.
year. And
My man Jesse Agler is having a good, fun watching college football.
I watched some
right
of their
now.
game the other day, and Michael Irvin was dancing up and down the sidelines, and that added to my enjoyment.
He's been a fixture on the sidelines.
He was
quite often
hilarious
this
the
year.
other day, though. I mean, just sweating it out because it was a pretty close game there against, I think it was Louisville.
I think the week before, or maybe it was 2 weeks before, they were at Cal, and he was like on all fours in the end zone.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, really sweating it out. I'm not
looking
kidding.
crazy
Yeah,
out
he was
there.
just crazy.
All right, here we go. What team has the Padres matched up with most in the postseason?
Ever. Is that
Ever.
all of their
Ever.
series?
Yep, in their
I
franchise
mean, they don't have a
history.
lot of
Yes. they
playoff.
Basically, I was counting series.
Yeah, no, I got what you. Playoffs.
Let's see. They used to be in the NL West, so I'll say the Braves.
The
The
Braves.
Braves.
Stay there, Neil.
I can count 3 series against the Cardinals. I don't know if that's enough. Maybe 4. So I'm going to have to, Cardinals. Yeah.
Sorry, Neil.
Sorry, Neil. You were close.
Cardinals 4 series.
4
Braves,
series,
3
Cardinals.
series.
We don't have any more threes.
Yes, that was by design. We're going tiebreaker.
He's getting us out of here on time. boy.
Give
Give you a player.
Let's do
What sport?
let's do Tom Glavine.
Okay,
He was
Tommy
an
G.
Get him.
answer.
Tommy G.
Get Tommy Glavine, excellent hockey player.
Player union rep.
Player union
I wonder if-
rep.
I think he
Tom
was even
Glavine.
drafted by the Kings.
I think he was drafted by
yeah.
the Kings.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Tom Glavine, good hockey player.
All right, let's go to David. Hello, David.
Hello, how you guys doing?
Hi,
Pretty
David.
good. We're gonna do the tiebreaker, so I'm gonna ask Chris for an answer. He's gonna give us a number. You tell me if the actual number is higher or lower than what Chris said. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right, Chris. How many wins did Tom Glavine have in his career?
310.
310. Wow. Did you know this?
Yep. No, I don't know. I just my guess. Is that right?
David, is the actual answer higher or lower? Because it's not on the dot.
I'm going to go with higher.
Higher. Sorry, David. It was lower. 305 wins.
I didn't miss by much.
305.
Ridiculous.
305.
Yes.
Good year, good career for Tommy.
And you
Glavine.
just said that quick too.
Yeah,
I
you
wasn't
did.
even
Well,
like
because
you knew
hesitation.
it.
Well, I was thinking that was going to be his question, so
Yeah.
I was ready for it. I was anticipating.
Antonio. Hello, Antonio.
Hi, Antonio.
Hey, what's going on, Scrappy?
Not too much. Not too much. You ready to play this tiebreaker?
Yeah, and I'm first time. Oh, it doesn't matter, huh? First time player doesn't matter right
Save
now.
it for next time.
Yeah,
We got
hold
you
on to
next
that
time.
for next
We got
time,
you next
Antonio.
time.
All right,
All right, cool.
Antonio.
All right.
Here we go, Chris. I'm going to ask you this. How
many losses did he have?
No, because you knew that one too easy.
I don't know
how many strikeouts did he have?
Come on.
He pitched in a very umpire-friendly era.
22 seasons of pitching.
I mean, you all he had to do is throw the ball in the other batter's box.
And he did.
That
Quite
caught the
often.
corner. I don't know. Did he get 3,000? Maddox got 3,000. I don't know if Glavine got 3,000. I'm going to say 2,800.
2,800.
Yeah, I don't think he quite
Antonio,
made
is the
3,000.
actual answer higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower.
Hey,
Nice job,
Antonio. You got
Stay
it.
there.
Your first crack.
You can always tell when someone's got it right in a tiebreak.
Well, 'cause Scraby gets so happy.
Scraby's octaves turn up when
Yes,
it's
he's
right.
so happy. He
2,800 lower?
Yes. I mean,
Yes.
hang on.
Because
Ding.
I could totally see this game going on for like.
Well, you better get us
Yep,
out of here.
that's right.
4:16.
Go
Let's
ahead, guys. We need to get out on time. This is our
Congratulations to Antonio. First time he's in, he wins. That can be you next time we play Chris vs. the Fans. In the meanwhile, enjoy some traffic updates.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Alta B.
Matthew Scravy.
LCS, largest viewership. See that, Tony?
I did not.
5.35 million viewers. Highest number since 2017.
And this is all of the LCSs?
Yeah.
That's
for
good.
them.
Good stuff.
And what was the one you brought up earlier on the ratings? The bad ratings for Monday Night Football
on
ESPN Plus. It was a disaster, thankfully.
Yeah, it was.
Hopefully they won't do it
only
anymore.
garnered 1.8 million viewers, which is not terrible, but for an NFL Monday Night Football game, it's pretty terrible. And so it was leading the person who wrote this article to believe that maybe the NFL is going to try to maybe second guess themselves trying to do an ESPN Plus game again.
This is music to my ears.
Hey, even I wasn't willing to go the extra mile to get this game.
I mean, if I could have just stayed away from that Peacock Dolphin Chief game
You're
last
still
year.
trying to get out of that.
Well, they're still wanting me to pay. Peacock still thinks I'm subscribing to the service, which I haven't been since the minute that game ended.
Chris told us about this earlier in the baseball season, and I had the Scraby Show game, the first one, and a lot of the people told me that they had the same problem as you, Chris. They could not cancel.
Could not seem to cancel Peacock.
They definitely hide the cancel button. Like, it's not like you click here, you go here, it's there. You gotta like
jump through hoops,
investigate.
But the thing was, I jumped through all the hoops and I canceled, and they sent me an email that said you're canceled. So I felt pretty comfortable.
Wait, they sent you? Oh, so you had email proof at that point?
I had an email, and then 3 months later, Lori's like, "We just paid $12 for Peacock again. What's going on? What are you doing?" And I go,
"What are you doing?"
And I said, Chris? Selectively, I can't hear you right now. No, I told her, told her what happened, and she was on my side for a change. And we went to
you
war.
had evidence.
Yes, I had evidence. If I didn't keep that email, Tony, I would have been in trouble. A note to all husbands out there: keep all
your emails and receipts, buddy.
When your email confirms that you did something, keep it.
It's a win.
Yeah. So
that's where you have a benefit, though, because Lori is really good at handling those situations.
Yes. Oh, and I'm scared for the people she handles them against. Because she crushes those poor people.
We had a pretty not so good room in spring training one time. Lori walked into a full hotel and gets us both suites. I'm not kidding.
She did that.
It was pretty incredible.
She didn't like her room.
That is the incredible power of wives.
Yeah.
Boy,
Lori
that's the
doesn't
same
like.
thing.
Lori also doesn't. She's good at changing rooms. She's good at doing that. She once got us a presidential suite at a hotel in Chicago because she was complaining about our room. They just had enough of her.
See,
they gave her. So
They put us in the president. They had nothing left, and they're like, we can't listen to this lady anymore. Presidential suite. But
how does that make you feel when? Because I know I would probably come out of my skin.
no, I don't. I laugh. I love it.
How long have you guys? 30 years?
35 years.
35
so
years.
I've seen it for a while.
He's gotten used to it.
Yeah,
over
I kind of
time.
like it. The one thing I will never get used to when we go to dinner. Yeah, I know.
Do I really
Well,
wanna
she
say
knows.
this?
No, she knows this. I think
Exactly. what
she knows
he's
this. Wherever we sit, she never likes the first table we sit at. Almost every time we have to change tables, and
Chris, I don't even pick the table.
Tony, I don't even. Here's what I do. I come over to the table and I kind of go. I wait because I don't want to get too comfortable. You know,
I follow behind all
I
the
know.
time.
She's like, "Can
because
we get that table over there?"
Please don't
And I
ask me what
swear, if
table.
we had that table over there, she'd want this one over here. That's just my feeling on it.
He's
I know. I shouldn't say it.
All right.
Did you guys see that? I guess they released this a little bit ago, but they were just talking about the third base All MLB nominees, and Manny is on the list for third base All MLB. Also, Alec Boehm, Alex Bregman, Matt Chapman, Jazz Chisholm, Rafael Devers, Manny, Eugenio Suarez, Jose Ramirez, and Mark Vientos.
Why didn't they just list the guys who weren't nominated? I mean, everybody made it.
So was that eight guys?
Three,
It was a lot.
9.
Yeah.
9 guys. Give me the names again.
Boehm, Bregman, Chapman, Chisholm, Devers, Machado, Suarez, Ramirez, Vientos.
I think Ramirez is probably his biggest competition.
Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, because I think
Guy's
Manny's
good.
had a better year than all those dudes.
Jose
back
Ramirez
there.
puts up big numbers. I think Boehm had that for a long time, but he really
He
slumped at the
flamed
end.
out at the end.
Yes, he did.
Do we got any other positions?
Oh, we got them all.
Okay, any more Padres in there?
I was
in the
just
running?
kind of scanning, but Luis Ariz is at first base for his time with
That's gonna
Miami
be a
and
tough
San
one for him
Diego.
to win.
The worst player in baseball, so I don't see how he's going to win that. Sorry, Luis. I just got to go with what the analytic people tell me.
The outfield got a couple here: Jackson Merrill, Jerks, and Profar, all MLB.
Both deserve
Yes.
to be mentioned.
Let's see. Any pitchers? Dylan Cease.
Robert Suarez ought to be in there for closer, I would think.
Sure.
Dylan Cease is in there for a starter, and also Michael King is in there for a starter. And then the relief pitchers, you got Jason Adam and Tanner Scott, Robert Suarez. So there you go.
Very good.
And then only one player at each of those wins.
Yes.
It's not like per league.
I'm not sure for the pitchers, but certainly at the positions.
And
you
it's
get
all
one.
MLB. I think it's still trying to find its traction.
It is.
You know,
It-
still
it-
making
quite-
the All-Star
quite-
team seems like a
quite
bigger
frankly-
deal. But this should be a bigger deal.
Quite frankly, I mean, Major League Baseball does a better job promoting the All-Star game than they do this All MLB
Yeah,
thing.
they do.
They should be. I mean, this should be the talk that we're having across the board in terms of baseball. But
They just kind of sneak the nominees out.
they do,
and you don't even know
Part
about
of the
it.
reason is that they don't want to step on the playoffs. They don't want to step on the World Series.
Well, then
but
why don't they wait till it's over?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why
Just get
even have
yourself
this
some more
conversation?
publicity.
It's just, I don't know. They
They
could
do
be.
a lot of
They
things
should
weird.
be doing the All MLB thing a whole lot bigger than they're doing.
They should. They should definitely. I guess fans were able to vote and narrow it down to 10 in certain circumstances. 10 catchers, 10 first basemen, 7 second basemen.
Never. Where did you vote?
At MLB.com/all.
I mean, they should make a big deal out of it on every playoff
well, they
broadcast.
do about the All-Star game.
I don't know. I don't.
I mean, they're busy telling me when Shohei Ohtani's batting. Why don't you tell me where to vote for
How does
MLB, All
Chisholm-
MLB?
How does Chisholm get to third base? He only played third for the Yankees. He played most of the year at center field.
He may have been narrowed down by some Yankees fans because the
Embarrassing.
fans chose the finalists, and then someone else chooses the actual winners. I think.
So he's gonna be eliminated then.
How does Paul Skeens? Oh, there he is. I was gonna say, how does Paul Skeens not get on this list? But he's on there. Never mind.
You were looking for it, though.
Oh,
I give you credit.
What
though.
is the date? You know, we ought to look this up. I'm going to type it in before we go to break. What date do they announce NL Rookie of the Year, because I want to circle that on the calendar and be idle that day. I think
idle, he says.
people are not going to be happy around here.
I've had a hard time.
They're just
finding
not.
a date.
No, and I think it's quiet now because it's out of sight, out of mind. But the moment that gets released,
Yeah, people are going to be like,
gonna-
here's R.J. Anderson, Jackson Merrill, Mike Exisa, Paul Skeens, Kate Feldman, Paul Skeens, Darren Perry,
these
Paul
are people,
Skeens,
these are
Matt
guys
Snyder
picking.
abstained. That's the CBS Sports crew.
That's because he actually has
Because he has a real vote.
He has a real vote.
Yeah, he's not
so
allowed
he can't
to.
say.
That's right.
But it doesn't say when the award is going to be handed out.
I'm almost sure they have that baseball get together when it's all done. Like they
Yes,
they
it's
all
after the
dress
season
up.
for
It's
sure.
after the season.
Yeah,
After the
but soon after the season.
yes, they'll be back in New York.
It's going to be
It
painful
is
for
crazy that I cannot find a date.
You
for
think
these
you'd be able to
awards.
find a date when they're going to announce the awards?
No, and the same reason why you didn't know the MLB team was going to happen until today.
Well, what's his face is just really focused on his favorite World Series of all time, Rob Manfred. Just focused on the Yankees.
You know, before you go down that rabbit hole, we got to go to break. It's 4:31.
Thank you.
On the other side, we have a Big Five. And on that Big Five, Joel Embiid might be getting cussed out by Shaquille O'Neal and the OGs on TNT. We'll talk about it on the other side. More Gwynn and Chris.
The biggest guests in San Diego sports talk.
through the world of sports in a way that only he can. Trying to see if there's anything new that I can touch on before we throw it to that, because I know you love when I check in with any other information. There's nothing else to tell you other than it's night 2 in the NBA. Game should be getting underway here shortly if they're not already. Pistons are leading the Pacers in the first quarter. That's the only game that's underway so far. Scrape, take it away after traffic.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the Mini Donut Company. Got a number of problems on our roads this afternoon, guys, especially on southbound 5 at Sorrento Valley. There is a stalled SUV towing a boat blocking the left lane. Further down at Washington Street, crashed the center divide, then stalled cars south 5 in the downtown area near Civic Center. Unfortunately, this is in the second lane from the left. Folks need to do a better job of securing their load northbound 5 before SeaWorld Drive. Some laundry across lanes. Also westbound King Freeway at Massachusetts. Trash can reported in the slow lane and some cardboard boxes across lanes. West 52 just before the 15. It's not rocket science, people. Tie that stuff down. On to better things. Everyone loves when someone brings donuts to the office, but we're all too chicken to take a full one, so they end up cut into pieces. I guess that happens at some offices, not at our studios though, right guys? We're not shy. The Mini Donut Company offers bite-sized, guilt-free mini donuts that are perfect for work, parties, weddings, and more. Visit getminidonuts.com and be the office hero. Now open at UTC Mall. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
And the Big Five is brought to you by Summit Subaru of El Cajon. See all the 2 ways to save right now at summitsubaru.com. And unfortunately,
number 5.
We're going to start with the Rams 2 days in a row. And it kind of makes me sick, but here we go, guys. Just 3 years ago, the Los Angeles Rams won a Super Bowl on the backs of Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Now the rumor mill is going crazy with rumors. The Rams are looking to trade Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. The Rams, we all know, went all in to win that Super Bowl and trade away most of their draft picks to get Stafford. Now, Rams fans are pretty fired up about this, but they were also saying it was okay right after they won the Super Bowl. So, Chris, the Rams are looking to trade their 2 best players. Was the juice worth the squeeze?
Yes. I don't know what the question means, but I have a feeling it means something to
Here's the question. It means, do you think that one Super Bowl and then 8 years of mediocrity is worth it?
Yep. I do.
I don't.
I've had 52 years of no Super Bowl.
Word up.
Come on, man. One Super Bowl would do it. I mean, I would not enjoy the mediocrity the next 8 years, but if that's what I got to have, the Rams did the right thing. They went and they got it, and now they are paying the price, and I don't think they have a right to complain. And they're probably doing the right thing now by trying to trade these guys where they can still get something for them.
All right.
That's my answer. I'm sticking to it.
Take that.
Okay. Tony, what do you think? Was the juice worth the squeeze?
Yes.
You've never heard that phrase before?
Yes.
I doubt I'll ever hear it again.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was definitely worth it. They got a Super Bowl.
As
they
a
won
fan,
the
though.
game.
As a fan, you want your team to win a Super Bowl. You don't want your team to be good enough to win a Super Bowl. You want them just to win it. And so if you win it, and then for the next 8 years, sometimes you're good, sometimes you're not. I think it's still worth it.
You're living the 49er agony right now, Scraby.
And
you're not
I've
winning.
said many times that
That's because you've experienced a Super Bowl win in your lifetime. Yes,
at
multiple.
least one. Yeah, multiple. I only remember one.
Okay. 94, is that the one you remember?
94.
Okay, so you've experienced it. So to you, it's not a big deal. But if somebody hadn't experienced it in 52 years, I think you'd be like, yeah, I'll trade the Super Bowl for 8 years of agony afterwards. And I wouldn't even call it agony, by the way, because they were in the playoffs last year, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
They were, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sorry that they have had to experience a few years of
Ask any
losing.
Padre fan if they would trade body parts to win a World Series, let alone a couple of bad years.
I just know how this would go. Padres win the World Series. They're awful for 5 years. People would be complaining after
Yeah,
one.
they wouldn't be awful for
I'll
5
say
years.
this. Maybe you're right about that, because I think there's a lot of new Padre fans that may have not been like dialed in before this new era kind of came in. So there might be some complainers out there, but the folks that were here prior to, let's say, the Seidler-Fowler kind of tenure, they would all know exactly what we're talking about right now.
All right.
Number 4.
Now, former President Barack Obama is a huge basketball fan, as we know, and he has a hot take about the NBA All-Star Game. Here he is talking about it with, what did I say his name was? Tyrese Halliburton on JJ Redick's old podcast. He took it over. Now it's the young man in the three.
Young man in the three.
And not the old man in the three. But here's what Barack Obama said about the NBA All-Star Game.
Can I say something, though? Y'all got to have a little more pride in that All-Star Game. I mean, look, it's not as if y'all don't play pickup during the summers.
Right.
You know how to play in a way that, all right, I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to take anybody out. That All-Star Game's, it's broke, man.
Well, I
mean, like, people just like not running. Everybody just trying all kinds of.
Well, I'm not.
It used to be when Kobe and Michael and Isaiah, those guys were playing, man. I mean, they weren't playing the way they did regular season, but they wanted to win.
This sounds like a conversation with my pops right now. He gave me the same speech.
It insults the game.
Well,
there you go. That's what I wanted everybody to hear.
He shut down Tyrese Halliburton.
He wasn't
there.
able to get no words in.
No, I mean, Halliburton had no chance.
I mean, he's the former president. I guess you just kind of sit there and let him talk. But there we go. Barack Obama thinks it's an insult to the game, the current state of the NBA All-Star Game. Tony, do you think the NBA All-Star Game is an insult to the game?
It is. We've talked about this, I think, every All-Star Game since we've had this show. I literally think that. I think as
it's kind of a similar discussion.
Yeah.
Did you watch the All-Star Game yesterday? Yeah, a little bit. What'd you think? It's stupid.
As the former president said, these dudes play harder in summer with no one in open gyms than they do in an All-Star Game with millions of people watching. All we're saying is at least just compete. You ain't got to go in there and play like it's a regular season game, but at least give us the best pickup game we could possibly have. That includes, I know this might surprise you, but that includes a little bit of defense. Just make it a little bit.
Stand in front of the guy.
Just make it a little bit difficult for the guy to score in front. We know he's going to score anyway, but let's get back to it being. I don't want to look crazy on national TV right now, and what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to try because I don't want to look crazy. I'm going to try because I don't want to look crazy. I like that version better.
The only thing that Barack Obama left out of his commentary there was that if you don't do it, then get rid of the game entirely. That's the last step, as far as I'm concerned.
Is the game a moneymaker? I guess TV pays for it. Or is that like a throw-in?
Here's the thing, Scrape, and this is not at you. This is just about that.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, if you want to compete, just go out there and compete.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care who's paying for it, what you're getting paid for.
No, I get that.
Just go.
I was saying for the NBA to cancel the game.
It's definitely a money maker.
Like, I still want to see, even though it's not as great anymore, the three-point contest, the dunk competition.
All of that was better when the actual game was better.
Because people cared.
Because people cared. They treat the All-Star Game
I didn't miss the All-Star Game growing up. Not one year.
Not one.
Loved every one of them. And it's the furthest thing from what I now.
All right. If you don't know, everybody, you can watch us on YouTube right now and see all of our reactions to the crazy things that we say. If you just go to YouTube and search 97.3 The Fan. Make sure you hit the like button. And hit the like button on the YouTube page, please.
Number 1, 2, and 3 right there. Is that what you're
Sorry,
talking?
no,
I
missed our number 3. It's the NBA is likely to begin an investigation later this week into the 76ers surrounding the player participation of all NBA center Joel Embiid, sources told ESPN today. Embiid didn't play in the preseason for what the team called left knee injury management. He's going to miss 3 games this week to start the season. And this is kind of the new normal for Embiid. According to sources, they are strategizing to keep the former NBA MVP healthy for the postseason. The plan has been expected to include periodic time off during the regular season, routine evaluations from doctors and 76ers medical staff. And Embiid, even went as far as to say that he probably would not play any back-to-back games the rest of his career. So, Chris, do you think the Sixers are up to weird things?
Maybe, but I think I think you've kind of left too much toothpaste out, and now I don't know that you're going to be able to get it back in.
Oh, you're not talking to me. You're talking to the NBA.
The NBA, right?
Okay.
I think they.
I was like, what did I miss?
No, you didn't do anything wrong this time. But the NBA did. I mean, they let these guys load manage. They didn't really make it important for them to play games until it started hurting them in the pocketbook, where people, want their money back now when they go to games and these guys aren't in the lineup, and the ratings aren't as good for TV games when some of these guys aren't in the lineup. I mean, I ask a lot of people, but if the Spurs are on TV and you say to yourself, I'm going to watch, and then you find out that Wembanyama's taking the night off, you very well easily could just say, I don't want to watch now, because what else is there to watch on the Spurs? But I don't know that they can put this back. How can you tell somebody they have to play in the game? I don't get that. I don't know how you can do it. So I think they're in a difficult spot, and I think it's going to just get tougher.
Tony, do you think the Sixers are doing weird things?
Do I think the Sixers are doing weird things? No, I don't think they're doing weird things. I think they're doing the same thing everybody else does. These guys are just being more brazen about saying it out loud. I mean, I'm sure they didn't want Joel Embiid to come out and say, yeah, I probably won't play any more back-to-backs for the rest of my career. Like, he could have just kept that to himself and let the, kind of the media world do what they do. But instead, he put it out there, and so now it feels like it's a foregone conclusion that you're never playing a back-to-back. And the season, here's the kicker. Their season hadn't even started yet.
So that's a plan.
So, this is where, sometimes players just, they make the situation worse than it needs to be.
I can just imagine him saying that. Oh, I'm not going to play.
What do you think they should do, Scrape? I mean, what are you going to do?
You can't.
Tell Kawhi Leonard, you get healthy and get in the lineup now.
No, you can't.
Here's the thing, if you're hurt, fine. But if you're healthy...
Yeah.
And you're just resting.
You're just chilling. There's really no comeback for that.
And it is no comeback, but it is a little hard to believe that is it fair, man? It's too overreaching to say this generation, but a lot of it seems like I could never imagine anybody missing a game for the hell of it, because we all used to like to just play the game.
What you can't convince me, and I'm a relatively new age dude, right? But you can't explain to me how we have a bigger, stronger, faster athlete, more, I would say, has more information.
Yep, better
taken care of, and yet none of them can play. I shouldn't say none of them. Very few will play 82 games this year. Now, you just rewind the clock back to the early 2000s where everybody was clocking 82.
Nobody missed a game.
I don't understand that.
I don't either.
I'm not even talking about the Joel Embiids of the world, because if you're hurt, you're hurt. Or the Kawhis, if you're hurt, you're hurt. But everybody else, you got to play through some of these little nicks.
If you were on the plane to Milwaukee, Indiana, and Cleveland for a road trip, why would you ask out of any game? I don't even get it. I don't even understand it.
Yeah, you're just hanging out in Cleveland then?
Here's the other thing. I always
why aren't you playing?
I've always said, the teams are in on it, and the teams are certainly in on it. But you still can be like, nah, I'm not sitting out today. I'm healthy. What would they be able to say? I'm healthy. You can't sit me unless I'm being punished for something. I want to play. I'm healthy.
I don't know. It's very crazy.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out, though.
Number 2.
The NFL announced some first-time candidates for the Hall of Fame, and the biggest name on the list is Eli Manning is up for the Hall of Fame. You also have Marshawn Lynch, Joe Staley, Marshall Yanda, Luke Kuechly, Terrell Suggs, Earl Thomas, and Adam Vinatieri. One name stood out to me, though, as someone I didn't think would be considered for the Hall of Fame. Tony, is Marshawn Lynch a Hall of Famer?
I don't know his numbers. Let me pull them up here. I mean, how many years Marshawn played? Do we know?
I'm going to get this for you.
You got to have something in front of you to answer these questions.
Well,
it's a hard one.
I did tell
it's
you
hard
guys.
to just throw a bunch of names
I did tell
out.
you guys in the break I'm going to ask you about Marshawn Lynch.
You know, I selectively elected not to do that.
I figured. He played 12 years. He had over 10,000 yards rushing.
85 tubs.
Yeah. Receiving wise, he wasn't the greatest receiver, but he only had 9 receiving touchdowns. But
he was a running back. So
he was a Pro Bowl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in his career.
5 times Pro Bowl?
5-time Pro Bowl.
That's probably enough.
From 2007 to 2019.
That's probably enough to get you in. I think
Tony?
Marshawn Lynch, and plus his postseason on top of it.
He was an All-Pro first teamer in 12, All-Pro second teamer in 14. Yeah. Comeback player of the year. He finished 6th in that.
No, I don't care about that. Then.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I say yes.
The guy I want in the Hall of Fame more than any other is John
Bailey.
Facenda.
Oh. The voice?
Yep. The voice of NFL films.
Honestly,
and I know
surprised.
he's being considered this year as a contributor. He is as much of the reason why I watch the NFL as much as I do now as anybody. Growing up listening to his videos, anybody my generation gets it. Like you guys, that's all. That was our connection to football. Was, his videos that he did, that he voiced.
All right,
Number 1.
Pat McAfee went to Twitter saying, obviously, when licensing our show through ESPN, we thought it would be easy to get the NBA folks from the ESPN roster. That has not been the case. The ESPN NBA crew has been rather impossible to work with due to their daily scheduling during the season. Afternoons are tough for the entire group. So, which ex-NBA player, blah, blah, blah. Chris, I'm up first. Do you have an issue with Pat McAfee calling out his
I don't think he's
employer?
calling them out. Listening to that.
Okay, well,
personally.
I guess we have to carry it
Yes,
over.
we do.
I guess we have to carry it over then.
Get ready. More Pat McAfee talk. If that doesn't bring you back, I don't know what will. It's Gwynn and Chris with a happy hour next.
Indeed we are. Into the happy hour we roll. Woohoo! 5 o'clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Sello, Matt Scraby.
Very happy today.
Yes, very happy. Why are you very happy?
One thing I'm happy about, too, is back at practice today.
Slanging that football around.
I would imagine he's going to play Sunday, if for no other reason that their only other choice is like, really, Tim Boyle? I mean, Tua throwing right-handed would be better than that.
Tua's a lefty for everybody out there.
So, yeah, I think he'll play. They haven't announced it officially yet, but he was at practice today.
Good for Tua. Happy he's back.
Yeah.
Still has people telling him that he should not be playing, and he's going to ignore those guys.
He is ignoring all of them.
Let's finish our Big Five. Little Pat McAfee.
What was the question again, Scrape?
All right, I'll reset it.
Reset that.
I'm just making sure because I wasn't paying attention, or not paying attention. But you read Buffalo Wild Wings, sir?
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football.
Now, Pat McAfee's on ESPN, and I guess I knew this, but I didn't really think about it until he wrote it. But he licenses his show to ESPN, so they get to broadcast it, but he still keeps his show. But he thought when he went over to ESPN, he was going to have a bunch of NBA people that he could draw from that work for ESPN.
So he could get Tim Legler and people like that to come on anytime.
McMenamin, guys, people like that.
Okay.
And he says it's impossible to get them on the show. The ESPN NBA crew has been rather impossible to work with due to their daily scheduling through the season. Afternoons are tough for the entire group.
Okay.
Now, my question is,
you said he was calling him out when we went to break.
Yes. I'm trying to phrase this the right way.
Just say it how it's in your head.
Should he call out his employer is what you're asking.
Yeah, should he bite the hand that feeds?
You always got to come up with a clever line. You could have just said, is he being disrespectful?
Should he bite the hand that feeds?
Whose turn is it?
Sure, yours.
It's mine? I don't think he's biting the hands. I think... If you recall, he came on, I believe, at the end of the season last year, basketball season, because he had Austin Rivers on there quite frequently. And listen, Austin Rivers was the only one going on that show. So it could be a couple things. The schedules don't line up. Austin Rivers, remember, was new to ESPN at that time. He probably wanted the exposure on a big show.
Yeah.
The rest of the folks that work there certainly don't need the exposure. And if the hours aren't right, you're probably not going to get them.
I mean, we do run into that quite often.
I was just getting ready to say, I run into it often with the morning show when, I'm during the season. They're up pretty early doing it, and it just has to line up the right way. If I'm on the East Coast, it might work. If I'm not, it's probably not going to work. I'm going to want to sleep that time. But... I don't know that this was necessarily him because the way you read it sounded like in his mind he thought that would be the case. But now, based on what he said, scheduling is really what's keeping them up.
Couldn't he do this behind closed doors? Go to his boss and be like, hey, we've tried, but it's just not working. Is there anything we can do about this?
I think
instead of going to Twitter.
Yes and no. Because there is a segment of folks that watch his show that would never get the behind-the-scenes look in terms of what's happening.
It's true, it's part of his
and
show,
maybe
too.
he's wanting to explain why they're not covering basketball the way they cover some of the other things. I'm just giving you some other perspectives.
I think that's a good thing because I think we here on this show are as transparent as can be. When we're unhappy with something, we will say it. But on the other side, we do know that there are times when we should be talking about this off the air and not on the air. And I guess he didn't talk about it on the air. He talked about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Chris, your thoughts?
On who is it? Pat McAfee? No, I know who it is.
Okay.
I don't like Pat McAfee's show. I don't like his act. I don't like his whole shtick. He's not for my taste. So I don't necessarily care that he's not getting these kinds of guests because I'm not watching anyway. But he's keeping the show for himself, you said, right? The way I understood it is it's still the Pat McAfee show.
Yes.
ESPN is just providing a space for him to carry that show.
Yeah.
Well, then I don't think ESPN owns him anything particularly special.
Maybe that was an agreement before. Hey, you could have full use of anyone on our staff.
Well, I would assume he would have said that in his argument. I'm just assuming that they're not giving him any extra, increased attention just because he happens to be on their airwaves. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Would this be like similar to me tweeting out, oh, hey, we've been trying to get Padres on the show, but it just doesn't line up. I thought when I came here I would get Padres on the show, but they're just too busy. I think that would be a pretty bad move for me.
I mean, but in that case, you're kind of going at the whole
the
organization. He didn't say ESPN. He was just talking about particularly the NBA portion of it. Now,
but
there is a chance that those guys will look at this tweet and feel some type of way about it.
He doesn't just be. He seems a little full of himself to me. And that's one of the reasons I'm not attracted to his show in the first place.
And I think that's one of the reasons he's very popular.
Good. Those people are not the kind I like. So he'll probably look. I mean, I'm not a fan of Soto. He's going crazy. I'm not a big fan of AD. He's having a big game. If I'm not a fan of you right now, you're going to get hot.
You're winning.
Yeah, Patrick McAfee's ratings are probably going to go through the roof, but he's not my style, and I don't think you say what he said.
Yeah, no,
he doesn't just
I'm
just
not
because you have a show. It's like Johnny Carson.
Yeah,
Well, Johnny Carson's too old, but Jimmy Kimmel saying, why can't I get this actor? Well, I don't know. We don't owe you anything just because you have a show.
I think that's accurate.
All right, that's it. The Big Five.
All right, Big Five.
I think he's going to get what he wants though by putting it
He
on
generally,
Twitter.
based off of what we've seen, he generally does get what he ultimately wants.
Yes.
I think Pat McAfee, when it's over, the shine's going to come off the star, and I think that's going to be it for him. Like he'll just have this is his moment.
It's a very good moment for him.
Sure, he's making a ton of money.
Sure.
He's really popular among. I don't think anybody over the age of 30 really is a huge fan.
I would say 50.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I would say 50.
Somebody 49 years old is getting his shtick?
I have a friend I can think of right now that's 42 years old, and he loves Pat McAfee.
All right.
The shtick.
Shtick. It's good.
How about your boy Tyreek Hill? You see his comments?
I didn't.
Tua's return to the field, quote, almost made me cry.
I don't
My
blame
man
him.
has been going through it without Tua throwing him the football. It's been a rough couple of weeks.
It's been the worst I've ever seen. I don't understand. I mean, I know you need a good quarterback. I get it. But the guys that have been with the Dolphins the last 4 weeks are, in the NFL. I don't expect them to be great. And I'm watching games and receivers are going up 5 yards, cutting over the middle. They're wide open. They throw the ball. You get an 8-yard gain. It's on to the next play. The Dolphins can't even do that. They can't even. I was kidding with Scraby the other day, that stupid screen pass they like to run, which gains 1 yard every time.
1 yard.
They weren't even doing that.
You're not a fan
to get Tyreek the ball. I mean, just nothing. I mean, just everything was just so unimaginative. I think great coaches adapt to what they have, and I think Mike McDaniels has not shown me that ability, to adapt to what he's being given. Now he doesn't have a lot of time, so
how do you adapt?
That's a fair excuse. But if Tua was going to be out for the rest of the year, which was a possibility, Mike McDaniel probably should have done a little something more to try to, to me, fit the people that he had. I mean, you kept hearing everybody even Orlovsky came on after one of those games and said, well, they're still running the same offense. They just don't have Tua. Well, they shouldn't have been running the same offense.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to put Tim Boyle in spots to succeed.
Now that
you really do.
Well, I'll give that a pass because he came in the middle of the game. But Huntley, was it Huntley? Tyler Huntley?
Snoop Huntley.
He played 3 games. Now, by the 3rd game, he should have had a clue what the hell he was doing out there. And it shouldn't have been the same offense. And he should have been able to get 1 pass to Tyreek Hill.
I agree.
So I blame some of that on coaching. I'm sorry.
My man Chris has had enough.
Yeah, I really have. I've had enough of this season, man. It's been I thought last season stunk, and the year before when they choked in December, but this one they're just like falling apart from the beginning. Ugh.
It's been one of those.
Yeah,
been
man,
one of
you
those
got the
years.
Dolphins, you got the Bulls.
Oh, the Bulls are warming up tonight at the 28 win level. My teams in general.
It's been a struggle, man.
San Diego State basketball. God love those guys.
Oh,
thank
that's,
God.
That's your saving grace every time.
That's it, man.
There
That's
is
all
some
I got.
bad news we haven't talked about yet.
Yes, there is.
Uh-oh.
Did you not
Did
see
you
this,
not
Chris?
see this in the union today?
I saw it. No. I kind of did. What was it? I didn't see who it was.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Somebody's out
I know it
for
was
the
Reese
Aztec
Waters.
It's
basketball.
Reese Waters.
Oh, Reese
Stress
Waters.
6
strike,
to 8 weeks.
Some type of fracture in his foot.
Oh, boy. That's not good news,
It's not good,
obviously.
no.
Yeah. 8 weeks? That's 2 months. That's December, Christmas time. If he all goes well and he rehabs perfectly,
And, you know,
he's ready for
the foot is.
I know,
is
it's usually
tough, too.
longer.
Yeah.
It's usually longer. But if it's, let's just say it's not longer, then he can come back for conference play, which normally starts January 1st or right around there. So I'll try to keep that positive note, but yeah, that's not good news for the Aztec basketball because they need Reese Waters. He's the one guy that has experience that's coming back.
Especially considering how much it seemed like, listening to, the folks around that program, how much they were going to be relying on him this year.
Yeah, but you know what? They've been pretty lucky with the injury bug, right, for
They
a
have.
while. So, Dutch will just deal with it. And I guarantee you, unlike Mike McDaniels, he won't run plays that are good for Reese Waters when Reese Waters isn't on the team.
You can almost book that.
You can book that, right? So I don't have to worry about that.
All right, let's get to break. When we come back, we're going to revisit some we're going to revisit. See, you're giving me hand signals in the middle. I got you. I figured it out. Okay. I figured it out. We're revisiting our picks, preseason Major League Baseball picks. We kind of.
This is where we look kind of stupid.
Yeah, most of the time
year.
we do.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually fail us. So if you're interested in seeing us look stupid, stay tuned. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
.519. Gwynn and Chris, Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Scraby. Scraby's got the Chronicles coming up at 6 o'clock, so we got stuff for you for the next little while here on 97.3 The Fan. Anything that needs to be promoted here, Scrabe?
I don't believe so, sir.
Looks like KSON Country Fest.
Oh, wait, nope. That's the one I told you earlier that we don't
Not
need
to
to read
read.
anymore.
Actually, you told me earlier.
He was in the room, and I was
but you were
announcing
talking
it to both
to
of
me.
you.
You weren't really looking at
someone
him
on
or
the chat
talking
said
to
we
him.
need one of those red flag commercial things where we could throw the red flag and someone will check on what actually
Challenge
happened.
whether we're right or
because
wrong.
we would do it every 5 minutes.
We would.
So this is not read.
No,
not
it's
to be read.
it's a old read now.
All right, let's go to our preseason baseball picks and see how we did. Scrape, you're gonna have to hustle through these.
Yeah, man.
We're not going to talk about every single one of them, but
You have them all.
I have them all.
You put them all here.
No, I did. Just so
we
we can
doing
talk.
in the next segment, or what are we doing? How is this working? Because we only have
I don't
about
really like this bed, by
9
the way.
minutes and 30 seconds to do this.
Hold
This
on, let
bed
me
is-
change.
this
Yeah,
bed
I'm not
is
a big
weak.
fan of this bed. I got to change it real quick.
There's no float in this bed.
That's one of my favorite players right there, Tony Gwynn Jr. Ken Singleton. Recall him in any way, shape, or form?
I don't.
Big, tall,
Big
switch-hitting
dude.
outfielder.
He looks like a big dude.
But he could mash from both sides of the plate.
All right, Chris, you're going to help me with the standings because I don't remember exactly where some of these teams finish in the standings.
Oh, I got you, sir.
Well, we got,
Okay.
I got them right here.
we have
All
that.
right, we got the AL East that we did before the year. This was picked like in spring training before Tony took off to Korea.
Okay, who'd we pick?
First place, Tony said the Yankees.
Correct.
So he wins. Chris and I said the Orioles. They did not come in first place. Last place, Tony said the Red Sox. Chris and I said the Rays. Who was last?
Jays.
The
Oh,
Blue
the Blue
Jays.
Jays. Wow.
Jays.
Tony got this one right. The MVP.
Eh,
Oh, no, Aaron
No, he
Judge.
didn't.
Judge.
Yeah. he
I was
said Juan
closer than you
Soto.
guys were, that's for sure.
Yeah. Chris said Gunnar Henderson, which for a little bit there, he was all right. Adley Rutschman had a pretty step back type of year for
But Aaron
him.
Judge would have been the MVP of that
Yeah.
division.
Cy
So I
Young.
win by default.
You
I
do.
was the closest.
Chris and I said Corbin Burns.
He had a
And-
good year.
Division Cy Young?
He had a really
Yeah.
good year.
And Tony said Carlos Rodon.
He did not have a good year.
The newcomer, I think, were Tony and I are right on, Juan Soto.
For sure.
Chris said Marcus Stroman. When I read this, I was like, what happened to Marcus Stroman? I
He
haven't
got
heard
out
of
a
him.
great first half
But
start.
where is he now?
Yeah.
Isn't he on the Yankees still?
That's what I thought.
He is on the Yankees. I'm
He's
not
even
sure
on
if
the
he's on this roster.
Wow.
Wow. That's
What would
crazy.
happen to old Marcus Stroman?
I don't know. We'll find out one day. NL East, all of us chose the Braves to win the division. They did not.
They were winning it for a while.
For a while.
And then they got
Hurt.
Last place,
snatched up.
Tony said the Mets. I said the Nationals. Chris said the Marlins.
I was right. It's the
MVP, we were all wrong. You guys said Ronald Acuna Jr. He got injured. I said Matt Olson didn't have the year. Cy
Okay.
Young, we were all wrong.
Spencer Strider got hurt before the year even started.
Basically.
Forgot all about Spencer.
Chris Sale took over. Now the newcomer, Chris and I said Jared Kelnick.
Terrible.
Tony said Tim Anderson.
Awful. He didn't even make it through the season, did he?
Who would be the newcomer in the NL East?
And in the NL East?
We don't need to know.
You'd have to go through all the
It's not our
rosters.
guys.
It's hard
No.
to do, yeah.
Who's in the NL East?
Braves, Mets.
Oh, you know who it might have been?
Who?
Vientos.
Oh, yeah, that's probably.
He was a rookie. Well, newcomer.
Newcomer.
Yeah, not bad.
I guess I am just going through each one of these. The AL West. Tony said the Rangers win the division. Chris said the Mariners. I said the Astros.
You got it.
Last place, we all said the A's, which is incorrect. Yeah. Who came in
Angels.
last? The Angels did.
Yeah, they did.
MVP, Chris and I said Julio Rodriguez.
Damn.
Correct. Tony said Corey Seager. Cy Young. Tony said Framber Valdez.
Yeah,
Chris
he's
said
good, yeah.
George Kirby. I said Luis Castillo.
None of those.
I wonder who would have been the AL West
Logan
guy.
Gilbert.
Oh, yeah.
Seattle.
He had a good year, for sure.
NL West.
So did Fromber, though. I just want to point that out.
No,
Fromber had a
Framber
great
did.
year.
I think you win that one.
Okay.
We may have to.
or
We may have to
NOS.
like do something different next year. We're missing on these picks by so much.
That's the fun of it.
We're
I
terrible.
mean, it just goes to show you can't. Baseball's like the hardest to predict
You're right.
this stuff.
You're right.
NOS division winner, we all picked the Dodgers. And
You're
last
right.
place, we all picked the Rockies.
Well, you can count on those Rockies.
We knew our division.
Thank
Yes,
goodness.
we knew our
Thank
division
goodness for
well.
the Rockies.
MVP, Tony and I went with Fernando Tatis Jr. Chris went with, I guess Shohei would be the MVP.
Yeah, I
of
went
the
with
division.
Corbin Carroll. Sorry.
Did none of us really pick Shohei?
No, I guess not.
Did we? There
must
must have
have
been
been hate
something.
right
Yeah,
there,
because we didn't even mention Shohei in any
Not
of these.
any of these categories.
Cy Young, you had Logan Webb, Tony. Chris had Tyler Glasnow, and I had Dylan
It
Cease.
would have been none of those. It probably would have been Michael King.
Ooh, could be, yeah.
He probably was the
Yeah.
best pitcher in the division, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I mean, Logan Webb struggled a little bit down the stretch, but it wasn't any of our
I'd
three
say
guys.
you were closest, Scrape.
Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
Newcomer, you said Jung Ho Lee.
Injured.
Yeah,
Got
but he
hurt,
was all right.
shoulder.
He
was starting to
He was
pop.
rounding into form.
He was popping.
Chris and I said Dylan Cease.
It's amazing how many of their picks we had got injured. Like
That's
they didn't
true.
even make it through the season.
Do you remember the conversation
Half of these
a
guys.
lot throughout the year was how to keep the starting pitchers healthy because so many of them were gone
Right.
before we even got like halfway through the season.
That's true.
That's true.
AL Central. Here, Chris, you have a couple. You have at least one that I saw that was a good pick. First place, Tony and I said the Twins.
They just
They
gagged it
tanked.
up. My
Tanked.
God.
Chris said Tigers.
Tigers missed by a lot, but they did get into the playoffs and win a series, which I think was surprising to a lot
We
of
got
people.
this next one
It
spot
was the
on.
Guardians, though, that won the division.
Yes.
Last place, all of us said White Sox, which we all
Beautiful.
were
Saw that
correct.
Beautiful.
MVP
Chris
of the division.
got this one right.
He got the next two right.
Yes, he
Tony,
did. Yes, he
Luis
did.
Robert Jr. for the MVP. I said Carlos Correa.
I
Chris
got
said Bobby Wood Jr.
Yep. Good job, Chris.
For the Cy Young, Tony said Pablo Lopez.
He
who
was
had-
in there for a little
Yeah,
bit, but
I said
this-
Garrett Crochet.
Chris's
who-
is correct though.
Garrett Crochet ended up not pitching by the end of the year. Chris said Tarek Skubal.
How about that? I got
That's
two
pretty good.
right.
Newcomer.
I got this.
I think
one.
Tony got this
I got
one.
both of them.
He said Seth Lugo and Michael Walker.
They were correct.
Chris
They were
said Jack
pretty
Flaherty. I mean,
He was good enough to get traded
He
about
Hey,
it.
he started game one of the World
Yes, he
Series. What do you
did.
want?
this is
is
your
not
fault,
for the
Chris. You
team
picked
I
Jack
had him with.
Flaherty. I said Steven Wilson.
Poor
Steven
Steve
Wilson
Wilson.
had
Poor
a really
Steven.
bad
Rough
year.
year.
Really
Rough
rough
He
year.
may never recover from that.
I still feel bad for him. NL Central, Tony and I said the Cubs. That did not happen. The Brewers actually won. Chris said the Reds. Last place, Tony and I said the Pirates.
I think you got
and
that right.
Chris said the Brewers.
I had the Brewers last. A lot of people had the Brewers
Yeah,
being
Pirates,
way down
Pirates
there,
last.
but they Brewers surprised.
I think we missed on our newcomer, though.
I think
of
you
this
got
division.
close here.
MVP, Paul Goldschmidt for Tony. Encarnacion Strand for Chris.
Another guy that got hurt like the first week of the season, never played again.
I said Ellie De La Cruz, but the MVP of that division, does it have to go to Paul Skeens?
No.
Didn't have to, but-
MVP of the division?
Yeah,
No.
I can't think of anyone.
There's a slugger somewhere in there.
Which Brewer would get it?
I don't know.
Christian Yelich was gone most of the year. Well, newcomer,
Cheerio.
Tony said Reese Hoskins. Chris said Sonny Gray. I said Jackson Churio. So,
Yes, you.
Churios had a
but the
good year.
newcomer has to be
He was a newcomer.
Paul Skeens.
We can
Cy
make the
Young could
same
be Paul
argument that
Skeens.
you're
You know what?
making
Screw
for
it. It's
Jackson.
Jackson Churio,
Yeah,
okay?
there you
Paul
go.
Skeens wins no awards.
He's there every day.
He is there every day, and he won me another fantasy championship.
He's had to squeeze that piece in
Sure
there, didn't
did. Thank you. But yeah, that's
If you
how
don't stop
terrible.
winning fantasy championships soon, I don't know what I'm going to do. But
The triple
it's
champ is here.
so
It
mad.
like makes my skin crawl every time you say that.
I have a feeling that I'm going to backdoor this fantasy football title too. So
No shot.
no shot.
No shot. I'm gonna win it before you do.
I'm
seen
not
your
going
team?
to speak,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I see my team.
Chris
Don't
is
you
so
worry
nervous
about it.
he's going to jinx himself.
You know that. I want to read you. I don't know if I can make this. And do I here? Talk for yourselves for a second. I want to read you some pop off that Serio wrote yesterday to us.
Serio likes to pop it.
He did.
He likes to pop.
This is another thing about the Android iPhone. Fantasy football groups will not communicate with the Android. You guys have a big old text chat, right, for the fantasy league, which I am not on.
Okay.
So because I'm
It
an
kicks you out.
Android.
Your name
No.
is in there.
I'm not getting any of those texts.
Okay, listen to this from Serio, if I can find it. Just keep going for. Oh, here it is. This was yesterday. I posted on Facebook that Lori and I had our anniversary. Put a picture up there, said happy anniversary to Lori, and good for us. We made it. John Serio reply. One of the many replies we got, and I thank everybody who did reply. His was, unlike your fantasy teams, love wins.
Oh, wow.
And I'm playing him this week.
That is great. That is good
great.
trash talk.
That's good banter right there.
That is.
Strong to quite strong.
And for someone who has a 6-1 team like John does, he can do that.
Well, if I whip his butt this week, he'll have to eat those words.
Please do.
I hope I do.
That was a good one, though.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of getting in on my anniversary celebration with that.
He's upset.
Everybody else said, oh, congratulations, good job, you guys are great. Not him.
He wanted to throw in
He
there
had
the
to throw me under the
take.
bus that I'm a bad fantasy team. I hope we can knock him off this week.
All right, let's keep the train on the tracks. Oh, it's your turn.
Yeah, let's go.
Go ahead.
What's next, Grape? 5:30 segment? Could just be
You're the host.
crazy. Well, we could hear Dylan Hernandez talking about Fernando Valenzuela.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that's kind of important for today.
Indeed.
Play some of that and wrap things up ahead of Scraby's Chronicles.
The World Series hasn't even started yet.
2:35. Now
I'm
we're
sorry.
in Hawaii.
5:35.
You've gone backwards on the time. You're usually ahead of the clock.
Oh, man.
Today you're behind.
I don't know. I got another 6 hours.
5:35 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. Bucks currently ahead right now, 48-37 in the second quarter.
Against the Sixers.
Against
Without
the Sixers.
Embiid, without Paul George. I mean, that's the thing that's really does stink about the NBA is that you have to rate every game based on who's actually playing.
You know, I know we're not talking about the Bucks as often, but this is a team to watch out for. Damian Lillard in his first, second season now. First, where he's kind of comfortable. See how he plays.
They still got Giannis.
They still got
on
Giannis.
that team. Brook Lopez.
There's a lot of conversation in the NBA right now that if the Bucks don't show improvement, that Giannis could be on his way out the door. Now, he's signed through whatever, so it would have to come via trade. But Milwaukee, not a team that has a boatload of money to keep
I wouldn't
this
give
up.
up on Milwaukee, though.
I wouldn't either. That's a good team.
I'd like to see somebody just, shut the Celtics up. But
And remember,
I don't know who it's going to be.
I think it's Budenholzer that's the new head coach there, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Doc Rivers.
Oh, Rivers, that's right.
Yeah, Budenholzer's the old coach.
Is he in Philly?
I don't know where he ended up.
Maybe the Suns?
No.
No, I think you're right.
Mike
Look at you,
Budenholzer.
Scraby.
What?
It is the
He is
Suns.
Phoenix Suns, yeah.
Come on.
Nice job.
I told the guys earlier
Scraby?
today that I'm going to dip my toe more into the NBA
Dip it in
this
there,
year.
man. Dip it in there. We don't
Let
wanna...
it rain. It says Phoenix Suns make key philosophical adjustments under new coach Budenholzer. There you go.
Budenholzer.
Budenholzer. You guys look at Budenholzer's face. Take a close look.
Yes.
Craig Elston.
Oh, let me see.
Oh,
Let
I
me
can see that.
I didn't know you were going that
I
direction.
can see that.
Oh, my gosh.
I can see that. That's a good call there, Christopher.
He does have a pretty good
Budenholzer has a little
resemblance.
more edge in his face.
Yeah, I'm not.
A little more edge.
Budenholzer's better looking. Sorry, Craig. But if you're out there.
He does kind of look like
He
Craig.
does look like Craig.
Looks
though.
a lot like
That's
him,
a
I
good
think.
call. That's a good call.
Yeah, I noticed that many years ago, actually, when Budenholzer was with the Hawks.
The Hawks.
The Hawks.
The Hawks.
That was very New York of you right there.
I've always thought that.
It was
So I'm
very
glad
New
you guys
York.
kind of agree with me. I'm not that crazy.
Scrape, did you hear Zion scratch tonight?
Yes, we've
Yes,
talked
we
about it.
mentioned
Remember?
that.
I'm
That's so
joking.
funny.
I'm being facetious because I know that you enjoy picking at Zion. And
Well, you can't help when you get sick, obviously, but it just seems like he's out at some of the biggest moments of this team's season.
Oh, stop it.
One of the other interesting stories in the NBA right now, I don't know if you guys remember last year, the owner of the Minnesota T-Wolves was supposed to sell his team to Alex Rodriguez, and I believe the other owner is Mark Lohr. I think the partner in that.
I remember.
A-Rod's going to be the owner. He was
pulled-
jumping up and down during the playoffs last year.
He pulled, so I don't know if you guys remember, but last year the owner for the T-Wolves, I think his last name is Taylor, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds about right. Mr. Taylor.
We'll just go with Mr. Taylor.
My man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my man,
my
Mr. Taylor.
man, Taylor.
My man, Mr. Taylor. But apparently, Mark Lohr, Alex Rodriguez, who are minority owners, claim they have $940 million in cash ready to wire immediately to owner Glenn Taylor. Of the Timberwolves.
So they want to own the team, be the majority.
They want to be
owners.
majority, but Taylor says he no longer wants to sell the team. So
Oh no!
I don't know what you do with that $940 million in cash you got sitting in there, but apparently he doesn't want it.
That's crazy. Can you
And
imagine?
remember, he changed his mind right as the Timberwolves were starting to do this, and I think he realized this team could actually be good for a while. So
They
I don't
are
know.
going to be good.
We'll see how this kind of shakes out, but. Alex Rodriguez, who was at the game last night doing the same thing, Chris, in L.A.
Was he? I didn't see him last night.
Over there clapping it up
Cheering
whenever
it up.
the T-Wolves did something nice, which wasn't often, as the Lakers rolled in
Who
that
was
game.
ripping him? Stan Van Gundy. T-Wolves, no energy last night.
Yeah, he was. Stan
all
Van Gundy was
upset.
not impressed with the T-Wolves
He
defense.
said he said a couple times it was inexcusable for their defense, which I think Stan Van Gundy. I want him to be a coach again.
I think
he's really good as an analyst, and I think would be a good coach.
I want to see his brother back on the sideline.
I'd like to see them both together.
Yeah,
How about co-coaches?
That'd be great.
Let them both be jumping up. The referees would have a hell of a time with that if you had two head coaches. You had to yell at you all night.
They were probably two of the better guys in terms of getting on referees. Matter of fact, Stan was having fun getting on the referees yesterday. He was quick to say. He was quick to call a non-call terrible.
Oh yeah,
he was all over the referees last night.
He was. Yeah, it was a good broadcast. I like
Candace Parker.
Yes, I almost called her Cheryl Swoops.
Not Cheryl.
No, Candace. I do. She was really good.
With all due respect to both of them, the best part of the broadcast, Iron Eagle.
Oh, of course.
I love Iron Eagle.
He's awesome.
The only thing Scrappy doesn't like about Iron Eagle is Noah Eagle.
See, this is the
and
reason.
again, it's not Noah's fault. But because Noah works as his son, Scraby hates
calling
Noah.
NFL games.
Well,
he's pretty good.
Okay,
man.
He's not bad.
The young man is good.
He's gotten the opportunity that a lot of people would kill for, but he's also pretty good at it.
He's holding his end of the
I'm
bargain.
also pretty good with that. I don't know that we could ever have Iron Eagle on the show again, though.
Why not?
Because of you, basically.
Because you guys would say something.
Oh, we would not.
I
would not embarrass you.
Bus like that.
Come on, man.
We would many opportunities to do it.
We're such a big Iron Eagle fans.
Noah Eagle. I just, like I said with Bronny yesterday.
We already had him on and talked about his son broadcasting, and he talked about how he was proud of him and that he made his own path. We talked about it with him on one of the previous interviews, and we didn't throw you under the bus there.
Had I made my declaration yet?
I think you
Probably.
had. I think you had. All right. Earlier today, we obviously had to talk about Fernando Valenzuela's passing. We had Dylan Hernandez on of the LA Times to talk a little bit about it. Before we get you to that interview, here's a little traffic.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Got a bunch of stuff going on here, guys. One of them is this collision in the center divide on southbound 15, just before Mira Mesa Boulevard. Also, East 52 past the 15, collision in the center divide. South 163 before Balboa. Sucks to be this person. Stalled car in middle lanes. Also going to find on West 54 right before the 125 collision over the right shoulder. And stalled big rig. South 805 right at the eastbound 905 connector. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. Usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And indeed, we are joined by LA Times columnist Dylan Hernandez, often kind enough to come on and join us to talk some baseball. And, got the World Series coming up, and the Dodgers just beat the Padres. But I think, Dylan, today, it's kind of with heavy hearts we have you on. I mean, the passing of Fernando Valenzuela. He's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but I think he would be a charter member if there was a Hall of Fame for players that have had impact on, a community, on a country, on a whole group of people. I don't think anybody ever impacted the way Fernando did.
Yeah, absolutely. And you really have to kind of think too. Kind of hard to tell now, but for a long time there was a lot of distrust between the Latino community and the Dodgers, right? Because Chavez Ravine obviously famously was once a Mexican-American neighborhood that got taken over because of eminent domain. I think it was supposed to become like a housing project there or something, and eventually that's where Dodger Stadium sat. So, for decades, the Dodgers were not viewed in the most favorable of lights in this city that was becoming more and more Mexican with every passing year. And Valenzuela just kind of single-handedly changed that, because sometimes you have those special athletes, I think, who kind of can transcend all that, right, and get people kind of involved and also just sociologically, right, from a society standpoint. There was a time again of a lot of immigration and stuff, and there were a lot of discussions about that, and I think it gave a lot of Latino people a sense of kind of belonging here, right? They were proud, right? There was somebody out there in the community doing something at a very, very visible level that they could be very proud of, and I've always kind of said, that the children of Fernando's fans became Oscar De La Hoya fans, and right, those are a lot of the people now that are out at the ballpark and probably Fernando's fans' grandchildren are now the core Dodger base. So, yeah, and you go out there now, I think the Dodgers say that 40 to 50% of their fan base is now Latino, and so it's just been kind of a massive thing. And, really, what just kind of struck me, I was 1 year old, a year old when Fernando Mania was happening. But I just kind of think about the unassuming, man in the press box, right? You never would have guessed that he was such a big deal, the way he kind of carried himself. And, every now and then I had to remind myself, like, dude, this guy, like, changed the world.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I often would have to kind of have the same thought to myself as I walked by him in the booth as he was, doing, the broadcasting side of things. And obviously Fernando had gotten sick here in the last couple of months and took some time away. And you kind of hit on it, Dylan. I mean, Fernando Mania had lasting power. It wasn't just that segment of time. It seemed like when Fernando walked through that stadium, it was almost as if Fernando Mania was still live and present, even today, it's felt like.
Yeah, and it's also not a thing that's just contained to Los Angeles, right? Because of, how many Mexican and Mexican-American people are right here throughout, not just California, but even throughout the country now. I think if you kind of look at like the big three of kind of Mexican sports, it's Hugo Sanchez, the soccer player, right, who had a lot of success in Real Madrid, Julio Cesar Chavez, the boxer, and Fernando, and of the three, Fernando was the one that was kind of able to kind of cross over in the United States, right, and was kind of this symbol of like, hey, like we can still kind of be ourselves, yet still kind of find acceptance here, right, and if we kind of go about it the right way and stuff. And so I think from that standpoint, he has like a lot of meaning to like a lot of people. I think, you always kind of hear people talk about, hey, that guy looks like my uncle or something, right? Except he was a star on a huge stage, and I do think at some level, right, not to sound like too corny or anything, because I generally kind of don't like this stuff, but right, like I do think at some level, like representation and stuff like that matters, right? To see somebody, of your background that's successful, and you know what, and it's also been, I think, a good lesson to Major League Baseball too, right? Because for the first time they saw, hey, you know what, if we actually kind of open our doors and make this sport more inclusive, the bigger it can be. I mean, you can draw a line obviously from here to Hideo Nomo to Shohei Ohtani now, right? I mean, you could talk about Chan Ho Park and now the great Korean players that are in Major League Baseball, and it really has helped, I think, Major League Baseball become more of a global entity than it was before.
Dylan Hernandez, nice enough to join us here, talking about the passing of the legend Fernando Valenzuela. And, of course, Dylan, I'm certainly not in the Latino community. I grew up in Southern California, in L.A., but Fernando was more wide-reaching than just the Latino community as well. I mean, I think everyone rooted for Fernando. And when he had that 1981 season, I don't think he had to be a Dodger fan. He brought baseball eyes to the sport. He took over the sport for at least that 1981 season and then beyond, because just the way he pitched, the way he went out there and did his thing, and he was more effective than just in the Mexican community, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's kind of right, the other day I was down at Little Tokyo, a Japanese TV station that asked me to go down there to talk to them about Ohtani and stuff. And so, a couple of Japanese TV reporters, it's me, and a group of young Latina girls stopped by, and they start screaming about Ohtani. One of them even kind of forced their way in front of the camera to talk about how great Ohtani was. And that's what great athletes do, right? They kind of bring everybody together, because everybody, when you see greatness like that, everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody can relate to it. And I think it's really important, especially in a city like Los Angeles, that's geographically so vast, ethnically so kind of broken up, right, and fragmented. The Dodgers have always kind of been, I think, or not always, but, for a long time have been one of these places where, it's a place for everybody in the city to go to, right? And that's kind of part of this now. And again, now you have people of every possible background cheering for Ohtani, right? Just like they did for Valenzuela, just like they did for Kershaw, just like they did for Matt Kemp. And I think that's what special athletes do, right? Is that they make everybody kind of get on board, right, on the same train, so to speak, when it kind of seems like we're all traveling different tracks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Dylan Hernandez joins us, LA Times columnist, and he's passed at a time where the Dodgers are getting ready to face off against the Yankees. I think he pitched in that 81 series at that year. I mean, it's kind of strange how baseball kind of connects these things in the way they do, and this is going to be highlighted even more because of Fernando's passing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty emotional at the stadium. Again, I'm guessing there's going to be people crying and stuff, right? It's going to be an interesting, just kind of the way the players kind of take it too. Like I said, he was a pretty unassuming guy, right? I'm not so sure how many of the players on the active roster actually knew him, or if they did know him, how well they knew him. But it's going to be, for sure, an emotional time in the stands for people.
Dylan, real quick before we let you go, I mean, his 81 season, he wins the Rookie of the Year. He's a Cy Young Award winner. He pitched 5 shutouts in his first 8 starts that year, and all 8 were complete games. It was just an uncanny performance, and he went on to have the kind of career he had with the Dodgers. How should we categorize Fernando's, as a ball player as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think he burned very brightly and very quickly, right? I mean, again, there was a very heavy workload that was placed on him early on. That said, I think, again, I wasn't around during those peak years, but the people that saw it tell me about how special it was. Somebody I spoke to today kind of compared it to like Tim Lincecum, right? Which, right, every time he pitched, it was kind of must-see baseball type thing. And, I do think now that because of the way kind of pitching has evolved and stuff, I am wondering if kind of the criteria for kind of Hall of Fame pitching will change down the road, right? Because I'm not so sure you're going to see kind of that dominant ace going 10-plus years anymore. And if those peaks have to be shorter for entry into the Hall of Fame, I think even as a player you can argue it, and definitely from again an impact standpoint, right? I mean, I've always said this: if Bud Selig can be in the Hall of Fame, Fernando Valenzuela should definitely be in the Hall of Fame.
Well said, Dylan.
Yes,
well
sir.
said for sure. Thanks so much for joining us on a tough day for everyone who follows the Dodgers and people around Major League Baseball. You've been always good to us. We appreciate that, and wish you a lot of fun in the World Series, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing me to talk about this. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan.
Fernando Valenzuela not only starred for the Dodgers, but right at the end of his career, came to the Padres. As Tony pointed out earlier, 1996, he helped the Padres return to the postseason. Went 13-8 that year for the Padres. Pretty good year, 3.62 ERA. He was 35 years old at the time.
And this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo
B-dubs.
Wild Wings. B-dubs is football.
Very good. Fernando Valenzuela, also the only pitcher from the country of Mexico to throw a no-hitter. Did you know that?
I did not.
He did throw a no-hitter later in his career with the Dodgers.
I find some of that history, I like history, but I find some of the history very interesting about how the Dodgers didn't have a good relationship with the Mexican people because they took over.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Right, because they took the land in Chavez Ravine. That was a really interesting story that Dylan shared with us there. Fernando brought everybody together. That's what he was getting at the end of that interview, that people like Fernando could bring all races, religions, everybody kind of galvanized for one thing, and that was for Fernando Mania. So that's what those people are able to do, and Fernando did it for sure. He won 173 games in his career, pitched 17 years, 3.54 ERA. I'm just thinking why he's not in the Hall of Fame. He did have 6 straight All-Star bursts from 81 to 86. His impact, though, will last for a long, long time after this. Scraby Chronicles are next. Tony, take us home. Sorry.
Back at it again tomorrow, Thursday night football short show. You guys have a good night.